Hello, you are listening to Ultra Q, episode 91. My name is Red. I am joined by Mel.
I won't forget you, buddy.
Okay. Thank you. Also joined by Brad.
Yeah, it's me, Brad. Also, the new fourth co-host of the podcast, it's Jimmy. Everyone loves Jimmy.
I'm Jimmy. I'm a weird nerd. I'm a loser. Everyone hates me.
Oh no, Jimmy's gonna die! We gotta save Jimmy!
I replaced the guy you liked. So, we have got the Ultraman Taro finale today.
Yeah.
Tonight. It's night for me. It's morning for you.
Wow, fucking Eurocentric podcast hosting over here.
The GMT is the center of the earth. Don't ask how this happened. We got the last three episodes of Ultraman Taro coming up. We have got, we got a new guy. Don't
listen.
Ski.
No, don't ski. Never ski.
Never ever ski. It's the moment he showed up, and I was like, oh no, the skiing.
For me, it was like, the moment he showed up, I was like, okay, and then when he was back for episode 2, I went, oh no.
It's so funny he was contained entirely within this batch.
It's really good.
So, we have got an episode about Nanbara, and an episode that was clearly supposed to be about Aragaki. And he just wasn't there.
Never ski.
We got a new guy instead, and then we've got the finale of the show where we have a shocking twist on the formula.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Before that,
we've got our stuff. I'm gonna tell you, I'm just gonna quickly rattle through like the shit that I have done, because I have been sick. I will be muting myself liberally to cough. It is not COVID. I am fine, mostly. But what that means is I have been off work. And so what I did on Monday was I started watching Gundam Build Fighters. And then on Tuesday, I finished watching Gundam Build Fighters.
Holy shit.
That was pretty good. Now, we can't actually use that as a measure of its quality, because I did the same thing to G, and I don't like that one.
I remember liking Build Fighters.
I still haven't seen it.
But also, I think that's the first Gundam thing I ever watched.
Yeah, it's good.
So.
I like Build Fighters. I think it is a fun show. I'm not going to talk about it. I think it's good. I thought I had a good time.
I mean,
also,
they're only on Age right now.
It's coming up. Other things I did.
Please to announce that as of this week, GGB has reached Don Voyage.
Don Voyage. What a guy. What a name.
Yeah.
Ages. I have not been watching Age and Pace with them, but I'm very excited to rewatch Age. I don't like that show, but I'm very excited to rewatch it.
I'm just going like speed rewatch, because I'm like, I watched this recent enough and don't care about the show enough that I'm like, I want to refresh myself, but I don't want to like seriously commit to a serious rewatch.
I don't have to rewatch. I'm just waiting for Flip posting.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have to keep our Flick comments to a minimum until
I'm keeping Flick comments to a minimum. I have a special relationship with that man.
Red is the most Flit-pilled person I've known. Honestly, when I think
don't
of
like
Flit,
that
I do think
I don't
of you.
like that description, but it is kind of correct.
Yeah.
You are intrinsically linked with Flit in my head now.
Okay.
Because of how often you bring up Flit.
That's terrifying. Flit's incredible.
Yeah.
What a thing to witness.
They'll see soon.
Yeah. The other things I did. I finished the Mistborn trilogy. Don't do that. Was not worth it. I was like the first two books. I like when even because I was listening to them, even when I was like I was like, this is bad. I was nonetheless having a decent time because, like, his books as, like, read out into my ears they went down easy. I was like, this is pretty good. I'm having an alright time. The third book was terrible, garbage. I truly dire. They divide it into two different plots, and one of them is like I really cannot stress this enough. Everyone is sympathetic. Everyone that has ever done a bad thing is sympathetic, except for the fake Robespierre. That's the one guy that just sucks. And like he gets a little bit of sympathy, which is that he was the Robespierre was manipulated. And it's truly like the only it's like the Code Geass thing, where it's like every bad thing that has happened was an essential domino towards the good ending. In a way that is truly bizarre. Like everything every evil thing that has ever been done was like, well, it all led to the happy ending of the book, and therefore it was all worth it. It was all good in the end.
So you can't really blame anyone, right?
Can't blame anyone for it. Also, it's like the anti-nobility racism thing like gets amped up with the fake Robespierre, but also it like this is a spoiler for the third book, and this is kind of like a thing from the first book. In the first book, there's a guy called Kelsier. He's like the guy in charge.
Oh, the Fortnite guy.
He's the Fortnite guy. He's the guy in charge of running the revolution. And his frustration, he has a scene where he gets extremely frustrated with another guy called Ham, because Ham is like in his gang doing this like revolution as heist thing. Like he's all in on it. But Ham is like offering these, he's arguing with Ham about, because Ham still kind of believes that the nobility are fundamentally different from the Scar, and like they were kind of designed for rule and the Scar weren't. And he's like, well, they have like fewer children than us, and all this, and like Kelsier is constantly like, these are things that can be like instilled in a population without being like inherent in them. These are things that can be taught to you. These are cultural things. And in the third book, it is revealed that no, they are physiologically different.
No.
And this was clearly not the case in the first, because it would be bizarre to write that scene if that was the case in the first book. People talk about Brandon Sanderson planning everything out really far in advance. He does plan some things out really far in advance. I'm gonna tell you, he doesn't plan everything out really far in advance. Some of this shit ain't planned at all. Some of this shit is retcons. And that's fine. You can play that off, but I think maybe the worst retcon imaginable is in the first book, you'd be like, well, the nobility aren't actually physically different from the Scar. It's just that we have been taught to believe that, and it's difficult to get my friends to stop believing that. And then in the third book, be like, also, it's true. Like they were made that way by the Lord Ruler so that they would be better suited for their role as nobility, and the Scar would be better suited for their role as workers. Ridiculous novel, Brandon. I hope your Way of Kings book is better. That's your last chance. Like it went like book 1 2-star, book 2 3-star, book 3 1-star. That's garbage. There is a scene where a character announces that is like, it doesn't feel comfortable trying to quell a rebellion like this, and another character says, excuse me, our heroes another character is like, well, if it makes you feel any better, we can think of it as staging a revolution against the revolution. And I was like, there's a word for that, Brandon.
Yeah, it's like some sort of counter to the revolution.
some sort of counter revolution. I bet. Oh, he must have thought he was so clever. I'm gonna slap that man.
Well, I got good news for you about Stormlight. I know several people in my life that after book 5 went, yeah, I think I'm done.
Oh, well,
so
that's good.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'll check out that first one. We will see.
I like the first one.
The other shit I did. What other shit did I do? I did some other shit. I don't know. I've been watching other anime. I've forgotten. Oh well. It's for the best.
Speaking of watching anime, can I check in and say I really enjoyed this like fake version of me you two invented that fucks off to play fighting games, so you two can go talk about magical girls.
Yep.
It's allyship.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what happened. Can you disprove that that's what happened? It seems like that's what
guess
happened.
Not. I feel like it frames me as someone who's kicking down the door and going like, I better not be hearing any Ave Mujica played in this household.
Oh man.
Mel, do you have anything? Because I actually really only have 2 things, so I feel like I should go last.
Yeah, I got stuff.
Okay, yeah, you go ahead.
Mujica's been good, by the way. We won't talk about it because that's like for later. But
Clout Chaser writes.
Yes. She is correct. That's the funny thing. Like, episode 1 and 2 is like Nyamu is fucking.
Oh, my artistic vision is ruined. Yeah, they bought their tickets. They're here to see us. Are you a fucking idiot?
Yeah, it's like the first 2 episodes. She's just like, oh, I'm here to cause mischief. And then later she's like, listen, there's like people who pay money and like have careers doing the stage stuff. You gotta like.
The sound guy is going to be mad at us. We're gonna let the crew down.
Like, I've seen some people think because like she went full like Clout Chaser, was like, hey, you should appear on my stream like episode 2. Like, oh man, she's so toxic, and then meanwhile she's like very erased about material things.
It's so good. Maigo and Ave Mujica adopting the radical stance that there are no good and bad people. There are just personalities, and they sometimes produce good things and bad things depending on the situation you put them in.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
But anyway, that we'll have a more thorough discussion of that another day.
Yeah.
I guess I'll put this in like a miscellaneous corner. I have a couple of short things and some more substantial things. Watched the first new Precure episode today.
Mm-hmm. She sing.
Yep, she sing. It seems like it's. I want you to tell me if this distinction makes sense. It seems like it's an idol themed Precure season and not a Precure season about idols, at least so far.
I think I understand.
Okay, yeah.
I did watch the episode.
Oh, okay.
I watched it last night.
Oh, okay.
What'd you think? Yeah. It was hang on.
Don't die.
Liberal muting.
Oh, Jesus. Yes, liberal muting. Communist muting. I thought it was alright. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it's only 1 episode, but
Yeah. I like that little rat bastard.
Yeah.
The mascot is mean. Well, not mean. It's a menace.
She's like Nemo.
Yeah.
Except she maybe doesn't care about the ticket prices.
True.
I did like the gag at the middle of the episode, just like.
Oh, the episode ending.
Yeah, they find the sumo guy and send him off to the magical land, and then she comes back.
going around asking other people if they're this Precure that the mascot is looking for, and it asks a sumo guy, "Are you Precure?" He says, "Yeah, I'm Precure." Puts him in the thing, sends him off to Kira Kira Land, and episode ends, and then a minute later he's back and he's going, no, I misheard you. I thought you said, and like a name that sounds vaguely similar-ish to Precure.
Yes. It's good. I'm glad that this season also is like, these are cartoon characters.
Mm-hmm. The special involving a song. I was like, okay, I understand.
Yeah, that's why I was like, okay, I see what we're doing. I'll be curious to see like how they make it like maybe more foregrounding Idol as like in the plot stuff, depending on how it goes later. But for now, it does seem like
presumably it has to happen.
Yeah, 'cause right now it does seem like, the Idol stuff is limited to the finisher, which is funny.
It would be funny if it was just a completely normal Precure show and it's just that she's Idol coded.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's funny. I like in the finisher, the monster gets like stuffed into a chair like a Clockwork Orange style and has to like wave the wands before getting blasted.
Yeah. Cultural victory. Anyway, yeah. This is Macross.
This is true. Death by culture shock.
Mm-hmm. Gamlin sat in the chair, tied to the chair, made to listen to Basara.
Well, that does what happened eventually. He just come around.
I'm still plugging away at Macross 7. It's good.
It's a good show. I guess on the subject, I'll loop in one of my longer. I don't know if actually how much to go this one, just because maybe there's much to say. But yeah, I finished a show from last season, this weekend. Show called Acro Trip.
What is that?
So it's a kind of a magical girl show. It's about a girl named Chizuko Date who's like the kind of girl who is kind of bored with life and also is kind of like really detached because she's like she's the kind of girl who's like, oh, my parents have moved around to different places, so I've never had like my own school. I'm always transferring schools kind of place. And she goes to visit her grandfather for like a few days, and then she's like, she has an awakening moment because she finds out that this town has a magical girl called Berry Blossom. And suddenly there's like excitement in her life, and she says, oh, can I move here and stay here? And so she transfers to school there and lives with her grandfather because she's like, oh, I get to see Berry Blossom fight every day, and it's cool and exciting. But there's a problem. And it's that the arch enemy of Berry Blossom, the general of the evil organization Fossa Magna, Chrome, is a big loser and is bad at his job, and gets owned all the time, and it just goes like, can she have like a better, more competent bad guy, because she makes her look cooler that way. And through some weird hijinks, entanglements, she becomes friends / partners in crime with Chrome on the condition of, I will help you come up with better plans because that will make the magical girl I like look cooler when she beats you instead of when you're being a loser.
Lol.
And I think you can kind of get the tone a bit from like the OP, which I'll just share. It's like, I think it's like, I don't know if it's like, I think it's a gag manga. But it does feel like this is the magical girl show where for like, none of these people have like a budget or like common sense. They're all idiots.
I see.
And it's great.
Oh, I've seen this character design. People like this girl.
Yeah. And yeah, it's goofy. There's just like Berry Blossom herself is like not smart, and like she also just like on default assumes that Chrome is up to no good, even when he's just like chilling. He's just going around.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fight, I think, where like Shizuko like first meets Berry Blossom or Caesar. I think it was instigated because like Chrome was like sitting in a cardboard box under a bridge because he was like, well, I'm homeless now, I guess, for some reason. And she's like, oh, what evil plan are you up to? And she blows him up, and now a joke to like, oh no, local magical girl gentrifies the neighborhood.
Damn.
But now just Chrome, just like independently of becoming Chizuko's friend, happens to also just live in her grandfather's basement. It's stupid. It's good. It's fun. I recommend it. I've heard this like also just like one of the first in a really long time like young girls manga that's like actually been adapted into an anime for like over a decade, I think, which is crazy.
Wait, what?
I remember seeing something like that. Like it's like there just hasn't been like. I'd have to find like the source on that, but I just remember seeing something like there hasn't been
like in this particular demographic.
Yeah. Like obviously like lots of manga gets adapted, but like not like this demographic or maybe like this kind of thing. Like I feel like people go like, okay, here's a tweet. I think that it'll be the first Magical Girl anime series adapted from manga aimed at a shoujo demographic that is not a reboot or part of a larger franchise since Shigochara in the mid-aughts.
I see.
So, kind of really specific, but at the same time, it's also like, you know,
yeah,
it's nice that it's like a new thing.
Yeah, like
franchise.
Because like look at any like, if it's not Precure, then a lot of the Magical Girl genre now is like either anime originals, which are usually targeting like an older / male audience, or like they're reboots of old things, like Sailor Moon Crystal or the new Mimu Power thing, for instance. So you know, it's pretty good and cool that this happened, and I look forward to seeing more of it. It is the degree to which the show does not take things seriously is such that like the last 2 episodes look like it's setting up the usual thing anime likes to do, where it's like, oh, now it's going into like, oh, we're gonna have serious plot for the finale for like 2 episodes, and then it reveals no, actually that's also in service of a different punchline. So that's good. And yeah, I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad it came out, and I liked it.
Mm-hmm. I've seen this main girl going around somewhere or other.
Yeah.
So some people like her.
You may have seen it in my Discord profile picture.
That's you know what? That's exactly where I saw it.
You know.
Very true.
Yeah. Also, for when she gets recruited as like as an evil general, she gets called Dante by the other guy. Like Chroma gives her the general name Dante, and that's funny to me.
Epic Limp Bizkit reference.
Yeah. Speaking of Dante.
Mm-hmm.
You know who Dante met in Hell?
A lot of people, actually.
But like you know his best friend.
Virgil?
Yeah, the poet Virgil.
Yeah.
You know what poem Virgil's famous for?
I actually don't remember off the top. Is it the Iliad? No. Wait. No.
Red. Do you know?
It's not the Aeneid.
It is.
It is the Aeneid. Okay.
Yeah. Do you know where Aeneas is from?
Troy.
Yeah. Anyway,
I saw Troy.
Oh my fucking god.
Did you know according
epic 2 nerdle over here?
Do you know according to Geoffrey of Monmouth, that's where the British are from, is Troy.
I find that somehow the same level of ridiculous as the Romans being from Troy.
Yeah. Just in it's clearly a classic source of like legitimacy culturally.
Yeah. Where are you from? Anatolia? Okay. Checks out. But also not to just be normal about things. I also watched the 1956 movie Helen of Troy to compare.
My god. The 50s arc continues.
Yeah.
Do we have an official verdict? Which is better, Troy or Helen of Troy?
Yes. One of these movies is... One of these movies is coming out in an era alongside a bunch of other movies like it that are better, and this one is just a competent one of those. And the other one is ridiculous and really funny.
Is a very, very specific thing that no one else is doing at the time.
Yes. Yeah, I actually don't have really much to say about Helen of Troy, because it is like, yeah, it's another one of these in that era, and, you know, it's not Ben-Hur, that's for sure.
Take that,
just,
Helen.
You know, yeah, I mean, you know, it's just like, oh yeah, there's like, it's fine. I will say the biggest contrast between them is Paris is the protagonist of the 50s movie, and he's like,
oh wow,
presented as like a more heroic. Yeah, more heroic, like obviously naive, but like well-intentioned. You know, the movie looks at him favorably as like, you know, kind of like a tragic figure in a way too, because of like, oh, he meant well, but his naive well-meaningness doomed everyone. And Troy does not have that patience for Paris at all.
Poor Orlando Bloom.
Yeah, he's good at civilization, but he's not good at Crusader Kings.
No.
Many such cases.
Just to be clear, have you guys, either of you, I'm assuming either of you have seen Troy, right?
I have seen Troy.
I don't believe I've ever seen it in totality, but let me tell you, this movie, yeah, I would say in the early 2010s, if you turned on American cable, there was like a 60% chance that this movie was playing.
Yeah.
So I've seen huge swaths of it, to the point that I'm comfortable saying I've mostly seen it. But I don't think I've sat down to like watch it start to finish, if that makes sense.
You've seen the Mr. B tongue video where he uses extensive footage from it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. He's not in the movie much, but Odysseus in Troy is delightful.
Good classic Sean Bean.
Yeah, he's just a cool guy. It's really funny that in Helen of Troy, like, Achilles is barely in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's just a sporting guy, and he dies unceremoniously, like, in the middle of his like dragging the corpse of Hector.
Oh, okay.
Like he's
not
around long enough to do that, and then Paris kills him, and then it's like, well, okay, we took care of that. He's just extremely not in the movie. Unlike Brad Pitt, who plays a douchebag really well.
That's surprising.
I admit I only know like the broad strokes of like the Trojan War stuff, etc. But you know, it was fun just being like, everyone's so hammy in Troy.
Yeah, they
got good lines. Agamemnon's got some good ones. Bastard.
They also do the it's like, it is generally like very like today it's just kind of, it's strange getting like the Trojan story today, and it's just like, there is no one on Earth that is willing to make an interpretation of Troy where the Trojans aren't obviously like the most sympathetic guys there. It's like,
yes.
What?
Yes.
Come on. One guy's wife. Come on. It's a whole...
Yeah.
Leave it alone. Leave them alone.
Yeah, I noticed... That was my takeaway from both movies. Just like, damn, I think the Trojans are just the good guys here. Like, the Greeks are just evil. Yeah, I think definitely the weakness of Helen of Troy is that, like, Paris is basically the only guy in the movie.
Okay.
Like, in Troy, the Aughts one, there are guys.
It's
they're
just,
all
like,
guys.
big name actors all over the place, like having it up, playing like literally classic names.
Yeah, and like having like a presence. Like I can like think of like all those guys, but meanwhile it's like none of the guys in like Helen are like particularly memorable, and also like I said, like Achilles is extremely like in the movie for like 5 minutes basically. I'm understating it, but you know he's like barely in it, despite being Achilles. And everyone else is it's good. I enjoyed my time with Troy.
What did I find? I remember being. I have to quickly check something. I remember being mad about. I have to check. Fate Achilles. I have to check what class they made Achilles because I remember being mad about.
He's a rider.
Rider class. Get the fuck out of here. Lancer or Berserker. The Wrath of Achilles. Come on.
I mean, I think to be fair, he's one of those servants where it's like, okay, he obviously has multiple classes. It's just like for the purposes of Apocrypha, he just was the rider for that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hector's good. He's just right, and then he gets owned, and then like they're fucked. It is funny just how much like Paris eats shit for being like a loser in the first half of the movie.
Yeah, it's
He's
like,
poor little. I'll fight for honor. I'll do.
Where's that fucking?
I really loved her. It's like, dude, fucking idiot, dipshit. The contrast between the two is so funny.
Orlando Bloom in Troy at every opportunity.
Yeah, that's it. He does obviously take out Achilles at the end of the movie, because you got to do the thing with the heel.
The thing with the heel.
Yeah.
You got to. This is the thing with Troy. Is like, I don't know. Okay, I got a question about Helen of Troy. Did they take the gods out of that one too?
Yes. Like obviously they all talk about the gods, but yeah, the gods themselves aren't characters, and that's an interesting thing I noticed as well.
Yeah. So this is a thing in Troy. Is a laundry list of major things people bring up about Troy. Is one, lol, their cousins, get out of here.
Heterosexuality.
Yeah. Two, there are no gods in it. And so like when they have like the Achilles shot through the heel thing at the end, it's like trying to find like the way that the legend was born.
Yeah, like this. I feel like it's like demythifying it, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I heard that like Troy also is like more accurate to Bronze Age Mycenaean combat. Which is interesting.
Than it has any right to be.
Yeah, like as opposed to like we're anachronistically putting in hoplites, for instance.
Yeah, this is.
I would
true.
not have predicted that, but thinking about it, like, yeah, I suppose compared to especially what else was happening at the time.
Yeah, I think it's cool. It is weird, just like to the degree to which a Trojan civilization actually existed. I don't actually think they actually would have worshipped the Greek gods, but it's a distinction without a difference, presumably in like the actual epic poem.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing about there's like the Iliad, which doesn't cover like the Trojan War. I don't know where all the rest of the Trojan War stuff comes from. It is
in the Trojan War. It's just like a part of it.
Yeah, I don't know where the rest of the Trojan War stuff comes from. I don't know what the actual.
Well, isn't a lot of it famously lost?
Yeah. Like the thing is, like the Iliad and the Odyssey is like what we have left.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's there's some missing stuff. Yeah.
Because if I recall, isn't it like 2 pieces of a 6 or 7 part cycle?
Yes.
Those are the only 2 we still have.
Yeah.
Okay.
And incidentally, both by Homer, assuming that's a real guy, but
assuming
he's on The Simpsons.
What if it's like a headgear? It's a fucking that's Greek era. That's Greek era clamp.
Let me tell you, there is a very popular, or was a very popular theory that this was the case for Shakespeare.
And it was all
one of
kind
my
massively, yeah.
One of my college professors was a very influential voice in the no, it was actually just a fucking guy camp. And like, we had a very stern lecture proving it.
Yeah.
And I was like,
nice.
I respect that you were very committed to this, like in your academic career, and you're also going to force this on your students.
Yeah.
I mean, I respect it.
I do think, like, you know, so it's one of the cases where, like, it could be one guy, it could be many guys. It could also just be, like, one guy recorded an oral tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know,
oral
poetry.
tradition. That's how it goes.
Yeah, oral tradition. And yeah, they also, archaeology does say, yeah, there was a city at the place where Troy would be, and it got destroyed a bunch, around and especially around the time of the Bronze Age collapse, which is presumably when the things would have been happening around then.
Yeah.
Though obviously, like, the Iliad and the Odyssey don't take about, and anyway, the Sea Peoples came, etc. But
it's all Agamemnon. It was all him.
Yeah.
He was the Sea Peoples.
Yeah. What a fucking guy who sucks.
Yeah. Wife gets him. Or it's his... It's like...
Brian Cox in that movie?
Somewhat... Okay, hang on.
Hold on. Look this up.
Troy cast.
I have to spell
it. It would have been really easy to have just solved the problem of the horse by burning it.
Yeah, the horse thing still, there's some missing link here. There's something about this where it's like every attempt to like explain that this makes perfect sense, I'm like, there's something missing here. There is some fundamental understanding of the significance of this horse that I think is just, it's...
Brian Cox was in fact Agamemnon.
There we go.
Nice.
Oh, Peter O'Toole was Priam.
Funny enough, Priam in Helen of Troy is played by the same guy who plays Seti in Ten Commandments.
Okay.
He's just playing the same role, basically.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Nice.
And yeah, other than that, I also watched Evil Dead 2 yesterday, and, you know, that's a movie that there's not a lot to say on, because it's a bunch of events happening to Bruce Campbell, basically.
Yeah. Did you have fun at least?
Yeah, it was fun. I was like, man,
it's
that's
a fun
why.
time. I have not seen that movie since like middle school, I want to say.
I've seen Army of Darkness in high school, and that's it. So.
Brendan Gleeson was Menelaus. That's wild.
I guess that's... Yeah.
Sparta is Irish.
I wonder if Sparta actually archaeologically existed in that period.
That's a very good question.
I do think I read something where it's like,
funny that you've got two movies where Brendan Gleeson presumably plays a ridiculous man in a semi-historical role.
Oh, you mean also like Kingdom of Heaven?
Yeah.
The one that also has Orlando Bloom.
That one is actually quite historical. That man was a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
I still have a request for your marathon that you're doing here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marathon by Bungie.
I am not watching Epic Movie.
I do not believe I've ever seen this film. I bet it's not good.
I see Borat there and go, somehow they'll probably do Borat worse than actual Borat.
Oh my god.
Actually, I mean, actual Borat's pretty bad. I mean, it was a time, the mid-aughts.
The film most notably references The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, The Da Vinci Code, Harry Potter, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Pirates of the Caribbean, and X-Men.
That's the 2000s.
Yep.
You got it.
Many have considered this to be one of the worst films of all time.
Wow.
No kidding.
That's remarkable. I never would have thought.
I think the funny thing is, I think I've seen Scary Movie 1, but also I've never seen Scream, so you know.
I've seen, I don't want to say all because I feel like they kept making them, but I know I've seen at least the first 4 Scary Movies.
I may have seen the 3rd Scary Movie. That's the one with the aliens, I think, at the end.
Yeah.
Scary, right? Scary Movie 1, I'm just like fundamentally, I'm just like, it's Scream. It's already a fucking joke.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because like I'm not a horror person, but I found out that like Scream was intended to be a parody, and then I'm like,
yeah.
Why?
Scream is already taking the piss and doing a really good job of it. By the way, Scream rules.
Because it's made by a guy who made those movies, unironically.
Yeah.
It's the guy who
really
did fucking what is it? The one that's the Bergman remake.
Ah, fuck! I know what you're talking about.
The Last House on the Left.
Yes.
Yeah, Wes Craven.
Anyway. Or are you thinking I Know What You Did Last Summer? No. It might be both. It might be both.
It might be both.
Unfortunately,
anyway.
last summer I was podcasting about Ultraman Ace.
No, I think it's just I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Okay. The point is, my man was making horror movies.
Yeah,
he put the fries in the bag and then he decided to cook.
Yes. Anyway.
That's me.
Everyone should go on. Well, okay, actually, watch some slasher movies if you haven't seen them, and then go watch Scream. Important order.
Where were we?
Brad.
Oh, is it? Oh, am I?
Yeah,
okay.
I finished.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm back from the cold fields of Illinois. I was at Frosty Faustings.
What was the temperature there, actually?
Below 0 Fahrenheit for at least 2 of the 4 days I was there.
Oh shit, that's even worse than me.
It was pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie. Frosty Faustings is an event that it takes place in Lombard, Illinois, at the same time of the year that Precure ends.
Yep.
I've learned. And
all part of the plan.
You know, it's called Frosty Faustings for a reason. Last year, first time I went, magical weekend, not actually that bad in terms of, like, temperature. Like, it was quite comfy. The roads were, like, a little hairy, I believe, coming there, but I mostly took back roads, and it was like, this is boring as shit, and, like, I'm good. The roads were not bad this time either, thankfully, but holy shit, it was freezing. There is a mall a little bit away from the venue that a lot of people, like, if they don't have plans to, like, go out, it's like, okay, you can get reasonable food here. And it's basically like a parking lot across the street, another parking lot, and then you're at the mall. And me and my friends decided to just grab lunch one afternoon between, like, our tournament matches or whatever. And, like, we were dying by the time we got in there. It was miserable. But aside from the weather, which thankfully it warmed up towards the end at least, so coming back around it wasn't too terrible. It was a great time. I do feel like maybe the magic has gone away a little bit for me now that I've been to so many of these things where it's like, I'm kind of coming here knowing what I expect, and I'm not really getting the wow factor of, like, oh, I've never seen this before.
You're not having the second best weekend of your life again.
No, and it's
and then we
still...
delete the episode.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Despite me, that was so fucking funny. And you know what's funny is actually when I was driving there, I was, like, mentally preparing myself, like, don't expect this to be a complete recreation of one of the best weekends of your 2024, Brad. That's stupid. And sure enough, like, after the first day, I was like, yeah, I've done this song and dance before, but, like, you know, still definitely, like, probably going to be a highlight of my year. These are always really fun. It's my excuse to meet up with a bunch of internet people. I met known tweeter Ultima Shadow, which was fun.
Nice.
I hung out a little bit with Red Muffler Man, who's also around, you know, posting online. along with, all my other internet friends and doing stuff and hanging out, having a great time. Didn't do all that great, but also I feel like I think I did. I'm content with where I'm at. My main game that I was focusing on was Tekken, and I went 1 and 2, but the last game I had, like, literally, I would say me and the other person I was up against were, like, perfectly matched skill and, like, knowledge-wise. And it literally just came down to a situation where we're both on the last round, we need to win the set, and we were both really low on health, and it was whoever makes the correct, like, guess in this next 5 seconds is going to take it, and I just guessed wrong. So I'm like, I can't be too mad about that. Like, in my heart, like, that could have gone either which way. But yeah, I went 0-2 in the original Multi-Blood, which I can't be too mad about because I barely practiced. Undernight, I went 0-2. Part of that is because my first match, well, technically I went 1-2, but that's because the person didn't fucking show up that I was supposed to fight against. I looked at their profile. I have a feeling I probably would have won. I don't think they've ever won a tournament match of anything. And they just no-showed. Which then put me up against one of the people in top 8. who would go on to be in top 8, I should say. I did have a funny moment in that match where I did Chaos's low B, which is like he like kind of ducks down and like stretches his leg for a kick, and it dodged one of his lasers and hit him. And after our match, he was like, "I'm gonna be honest, man. I learned something from that. Actually, I didn't know that your character could do that." I was like glad to help.
Nice.
So that was funny. Tekken, actually, the first I should say too. Part of the reason I was not too upset either is that I won my first Tekken match, and that. I went up against someone who was really fucking good and I believe made it out of the pool. So it's like, okay, like there's just a point where because of how you're positioned and seated in the bracket, I will inevitably go up against someone just randomly through sheer chance who is just a fucking killer, right? And there's nothing I can do about that, so I'm not going to beat myself up about losing in those situations. Yeah, I DQ'd myself from Marvel vs. Capcom 2 just because I was like, I did not put the time into learning that game that I thought I would. So I was just like, whatever. It was also like early in the morning and I didn't want to get up. Like I was like, I'd rather just sleep in. So I DQ'd myself. And then what was the other thing I signed up for? Undernight Tekken. Oh yeah, Mystery Game. I went 2-2 in. That was fun. Not too much funny stuff. Well, we did play Primal Rage for the Sega Saturn. And I was the first match of that round for that game, and I discovered a really cheap bullshit thing to do with I don't want to say what type of dinosaur, lest I get it wrong and our dinosaur lover on the podcast murders me, but there's a dinosaur in Primal Rage called Sauron. Yes, like the Lord of the Rings. And I just spammed the, like, crouching light attack, and the opponent could not do shit. And everyone was like, this guy knows what he's fucking doing. We gotta all do this too. And everyone who stole my strategy won their match. So that felt good.
Lol.
I lost. I won both my first 2 games, which was that and Project Justice. And then I got up. I faced off against this guy in 2 different puzzle games. And I just got demolished.
Do you know what games they were?
That is my weakness. What was that?
Do you know which games they
are? One of them was a Puyo Puyo clone, also for the Saturn, but it wasn't Puyo Puyo. It was that same type of, like, blob matching system, but it had this unique mechanic where some of the blobs were, like, these nested pieces that after you matched the, like, color of the, like, nested piece, there would be 2 other blobs inside of them that would grow and expand out. And what fucked me up is I know how to do a Puyo Puyo combo, but when you add in that element of it, I could not wrap my brain around how I was supposed to be positioning things to get chains. And it just fucked me over completely, and I lost. And then the second one was called Wild Snake for the Super Nintendo, which is like, what if you played Tetris, kind of? But it was more based on colors, and also the pieces move and slither as they fall, and you kind of have to fight with it to get it to, like, land where you want it to. It seemed like a neat game, but it went on a little long, so it was kind of frustrating. Yeah, outside of that, I got a lot of casual games in that was really fun. I'm happy. Like, Tekken is a really interesting game to play in person casually, because I kept running into the situation where I felt like I was demolishing people or I was getting demolished with very little in between. It was really weird, like, being at a level with that game where I was fighting someone and, like, just hearing them over the course of the set just being like, I just don't fucking know what to do against you. And I'm just like, oh, damn, it's kind of weird being that guy. That feels nice. Played a lot of Virtua Fighter, actually. And I gotta say, now, to be fair, this might be because that community is, like, extremely dead and small right now and just now coming back. Virtua Fighter players, extremely friendly people. They really want people playing their games, and everyone around the setup was just more than happy to, like, talk, have a great time, and, teach people who are coming into it for the first time and be like, oh yeah, here's how it's different from Tekken. Here's some things to watch out for. Here's some really good moves for your character just to, like, get you started out. Like, really cool. Like, I loved the vibe of it. Sega people were around too. They were handing out pins for people who signed up for the tournament and, like, t-shirts and stuff. And they're just chatting with people. I didn't talk to them, but it was cool. Actually, you know who was fucking there who I talked to? Ironically, watching Virtua Fighter's top 8. I fucking met Harada.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, no, it was funny. Me and my buddy Johnson were watching Virtua Fighter Top 8 after everyone else kind of, like, retired for the night, because it was going kind of late. And we looked back and we're just like, is that Harada? And, like, Harada was just hanging out watching Virtua Fighter. And when there was a break between some of the, like, top 8 matches, we just went up and we're like, hey, do you mind if we, like, grab a photo? And he was super cool about it, and we just talked a little bit, and I was like, oh yeah, like, thanks for all you do, and, like, all the hard work and all that stuff or whatever. And he was super cool about it. So it was cool meeting him in person, just, getting a photo. I do think it's very Bradcore that I met him while watching the competition's game.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just thought it was a very funny place to meet Harada.
On that
person.
note, I think the, like, expose Harada gave, which I saw, like, a summary of on Max's channel on, like, Itagaki's antagonism towards Tekken, was pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, the Dead or Alive Tekken beef.
Yeah, which is basically just like, oh yeah, I just played it up for marketing.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
And he's like,
as soon as he got let go from that company, he's like, yeah, I was never actually mad at you.
But also, just like, he compiled all this marketing research on his own to do, and he's like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
How did you know I went to that university?
That's the spirit of a hater. A hater for exclusively marketing reasons, but a hater nonetheless. The old magazine article where they're like, hey, Itagaki, what are your 5 least favorite games? And he goes, Tekken 1,
yes.
Tekken 2, Tekken 3, Tekken 4, Tekken 5. Funniest shit in the world. Yeah. Extremely good bit. The last thing then, actually, for Frosties I do want to talk about is substantial amount of my my Saturday. Oh, actually, no, 2 things, because they're nested into one another.
Like that puzzle game. As
always, we had the unsolicited Gundam Extreme vs. 2 Overboost tournament. Actually notable. Last time I talked about this, we were playing Cross Boost. The people working their magic to get us Westerners the builds have now graduated to Overboost, the most current version, through various backdoor means that I have since learned how this has happened, but I will not repeat in the public ear. But Overboost is cool. It's nice playing around with Ariel and Farak. They got the G-Witch suits in. The Hainu is cracked as fuck in that version for some reason. It's very funny. That game continues to make very questionable balancing decisions ever since Mban, which I think talking with people in the community, everyone seems to agree Mban was where the balance was, like, the best. And since then, they've gotten really wacky with it, but everyone's still having a great time. I did not do as well as I did at Combo Breaker in the Shuffle tournament, but that's also because there were a lot more killers around this year. But notice one thing notable during my my Gundam Extreme Versus experience. I was there in real life for an FGC controversy for the first time. Have either of you heard about the legendary Frosty Faustings Samurai Showdown pop-off?
No.
So, I don't know if this was the final match of the Samurai Showdown tournament, but like it was all being held in this one side ballroom that they had. Someone won their match, and I don't know if it was the last match of the tournament, but they popped off, started to like run around and like scream and, you know, get hype or whatever. And we were all playing Gundam at the time, so I didn't register this because I kind of turned around to be like, damn, you know, like go off or whatever, I guess, but I got a fucking match to play. There was then a loud like bang noise, which I assumed was like a chair tipping over or like, you know, something. What actually happened is that guy fucking, in his excitement, punched a hole in the drywall and was then escorted off the premises by security.
Oh.
I wouldn't have done that.
No, it's very stupid. Apparently he is paying for the repairs and it's all good, ? But he did get banned from that reasonably. But yeah, it was, I was in the room for that. I didn't realize it happened until later that night when people were talking about it on like Blue Sky and Twitter and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's what that noise was. I didn't see him get escorted off by security or anything, but my back was to it technically at the time I was playing Gundam.
Officer, I didn't see the incident.
I did not see the incident. But that was pretty fucking that was something. It's wild being like, oh yeah, there was a big dumb thing that happened, and I'd be like, yeah, I was there for that. But yeah, Gundam setup always continues to be my favorite part, I would say, of those tournaments. It's just nice getting to talk with other Gundam people, and they're like mostly chill, even if everyone's there for a wide variety of reasons and like interests in terms of what series they like and don't like. They're always like normal people. And what actually felt really good this time is that I showed up and people were like, oh hey, it's Brad, and I was not expecting that.
Nice.
So that was cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm just like, all right, I'm happy I'm enough of a fixture at these now that people are like, oh hey, he's here. So that was cool.
Yeah, I know, Brad. He was at the wall punch.
Yeah. Actually, it was really funny. So the last day for the shuffle tournament, Haley, one of the players there, won, and she started to pop off, and then Brett, who always hosts the shuffle tournaments, and if you've ever watched like an Under Night or like a Blaze, like I think he's done Blaze Blue Guilty Gear, like Hella Brett, very popular like commentator, like online personality guy, always does like commentaries and stuff for Evo and Top 8s and all that stuff. You've probably seen him around, even if you don't know him by name. And she started to pop off, and it was in the same room, and then he immediately went, "Don't get too excited." That was good. But yeah, I did so at Combo Breaker. Brett goes to Japan for like events and different things or whatever. And at Combo Breaker last year when we did the Gundam Extreme vs. Shuffle tournament, as our participation award, we all got a shitty Japanese Magic the Gathering card because they just have like Magic the Gathering gachas like there that are just random shit cards and occasionally a very good card that you like put money into the machine, you get a bunch of random cards or whatever, right? And he's like, I always try my luck at these, and I always just get dog shit. I don't know why I keep doing it, but I always feel compelled to. So he decided to offload some of his shit cards onto us at Combo Breaker as our award for participating in the tournament. So halfway through the tournament this year, I was like, Brett, I'm really sad that I didn't get like a shitty Magic the Gathering card this time around. And he went, Brad, hold on, just for you. And then he started digging through his backpack, and he's like, I'm sure I got one in here. And then he gave me a second one. And I now have an ongoing bit with him that I am slowly going to assemble a like actual Magic the Gathering deck using the shitty cards that he gives me for these tournaments.
That's gonna take a lot of tournaments.
Yeah,
it's gonna take a lot of tournaments.
Do you know what would be funny?
Yeah,
it would turn out to be a white aggro deck.
I don't think either. Hold on, I have them. Oh shit, one of them is white.
Oh,
Holy shit.
Let's go.
Okay. One of them is Token Artifact Creature Clown Robot, which I don't know what the fuck color this is.
There are
I think
colorless
this is white.
cards.
Okay, it might be that too. Slowly but surely, I will build a deck. I have 2 right now. The last thing I have, as we hit the hour mark of this recording, I am building my fucking final piece of my home arcade.
Nice.
Because it started to arrive in the mail in the span of 3 shipments. Have I gone on my rant to either of you about my experience getting this fucking Unico Nova Blast arcade machine to my house? And by house, I mean apartment that I rent.
Not really?
Okay, so the long story short is that a while back, this company named Unico, which I will post a photo of, but they're known kind of in, like, I should say, the last few years, it's really popped off. Like, you've probably seen, like, Arcade 1-Ups or stuff like that. Like, people are making these, like, not as big as actual arcade machines, but, like, big enough, like, replica-type arcade machines for home usage, sort of thing. Like, this is an active industry that's been taking off. Arcade 1-Up is the most popular. They also aren't very good. But there is this company called Unico that has been making these types of machines. The one that they're best known for is probably the MVSX, which is like a 40 games in one SNK machine. And it's kind of known in the, like, in this scene or in this community, I guess, as being like, okay, this is actually pretty close to arcade level quality. And like good size, good quality parts. Like they didn't really cut corners in too many places, but you're gonna pay for it. Like it's a little bit pricier. So Unico, from my mind, I'm like, okay, this is a trusted player in the space. And then they announced that they're making these replica candy cabinets. Now I don't know, Mel, I'm assuming, I don't know, Red, are you familiar with the term candy cabinet?
Nah.
Okay, so a candy cabinet is this style of Japanese sit-down cabinet. If you've ever heard the term Astro City,
yeah,
it's these types of arcade cabinets. And I've always wanted one of these things because they're just, like, really cozy. I like the aesthetic. It's just clean. It's, like, nice, like, white metal. Like
Brad
really,
wants an
really...
arcade game where you go find a neighbor's cat in the mountains.
Yeah, basically. And I like the color scheme, I like the aesthetic. I'm like, fuck, I've always wanted one of these things. The only problem is that actually getting one of these things, if you don't live in California or, like, Vancouver, you're gonna be paying a lot, because they're mostly located on the West Coast. It costs a fuck ton to, like, move these anywheres, because, you know, they're, like, hundreds of pounds. Yeah, they're big, they're heavy. And also, they're fucking, like, 30 years old at this point. This shit is full of old wiring and shitty old hardware that, like, these are breaking down, and they're, the only replacement parts you are getting from these are, like, weirdos with, like, dedicated websites and, like, you know, Etsy pages and shit. Like, these are money pits. So I've always thought, like, it would be nice to have, but realistically, I'm not going to put the money or the time into doing that, especially living where I live. It's just not reasonable. Like, you can do it, but it costs a lot, and then also, like, every few years something's probably going to break, and you're going to need to go through the headache and the even, you know, more costly process of, like, getting it back in working condition again. I'm like, fuck that, I'm not doing that. So, Unico, I want to say, like, a year and a half to, like, 2 years back, announced that they're making, hold on, let me get a good photo of it, replicas of these that come as, like, you can kind of see from the SNK thing, what they tend to do is, like, make it a, like, a detachable thing where it's, like, you can just get a bar top version if you want to put it on a table or something, or you can get it with, like, a base, and, you know, the deluxe version comes with, like, 2 little, like, chairs like this, and I was like, fuck it. I think, like, this is going to be the last, like, dumb arcade machine thing I get before I call it quits, because, like, I don't need to be one of those people that has, like, 8 fucking machines. Like, I kind of want enough that, like, when I have people over, everyone can be doing something, and like I can put whatever fucking ROMs I want in on it. I don't like there's like weirdos that are like, oh, I need to have the board for the game, and like it's like, why would you just put the ROM set in? You know what I mean? Like it's more practical. You can get like 800 fucking games in one arcade cabinet. Why not? So I order this, and they keep fucking delaying it. And they're atrocious about messaging on it. They keep posting really bad, and I'm assuming AI-generated Facebook updates that are like, oh yeah, it's not coming this month, actually. Check back 2 months, and it's like bad stock image of like a clock. And I'm like, what are we doing here? And it was getting bad enough to the point where I was like, should I just ask for my fucking money back? And then I finally got a shipment notification a few days ago that it's coming. So I have assembled the base for it. And aside from the fact that a wooden piece, which like... So I guess with this too, this doesn't come with any games. This is a supply your own innards device where they're like, hey, do you want to put like a Mister in here? Do you want to put like a PS5 in here? Whatever the fuck you want to do. There's a shelf on the inside of this thing with the relevant hookups, and you can just put in whatever the fuck you want. I'm going to be putting in an old laptop running, like RetroArch and shit like that. And I think that'll serve me as well as I need. Also, the screen rotates so that you can have it either in vertical mode for, like, shmups and stuff, or, like, the traditional widescreen.
Yeah, Tate mode.
Yeah. It's pretty cool, but, I was a little bummed that, like, it came so fucking late, and also, like, I know that, like, shipping stuff like this isn't easy, and you're always going to get shitty, like, dents and, like, random scrapes and scratches and stuff, but also, like, the wooden shelf you're supposed to put your shit on just came, like, really cracked, and I'm waiting for the other pieces of this to come in a few days, and I'm just going to assess the damage and then email them and hope that they're not shitty about giving me replacement parts. For the amount I paid for this, I hope they're not. But yeah, I have photos here of how I've assembled it so far. I just need the top to come and then also the chairs. But I just got a laptop in there for now. But I'm excited when this thing is all up and running to use it to play a fuck ton of arcade games that, like, is just kind of fun to have an actual machine to do that with.
Yeah,
it's very. I realize the logic of this and the workings of this. But it is fun. It is, to me, visually fundamentally funny to open this thing up and just see a laptop inside.
It's pretty good. Yeah, there is what other people are doing is there's like, because this specifically has like a JAMA connection inside of it, which is, if you're not familiar, like that is the like basic, like very common multi-platform arcade game board connector. And there's specifically, you can get like a Mr. JAMA connector thing to like put in your Mr. like whatever box of choice into that, and a lot of people are doing that. But with the current prices of Misters, I'm just like, I don't care I don't care that much about the like really hardcore level emulation. Like, I'm fine just using some like an old laptop I had just collecting dust with like more traditional emulators inside. So yeah,
all right,
arcade games, they're fun.
Arcade games,
yeah.
Sick. I did remember the other thing that I did.
Okay.
Oh, what's the other thing you did?
I finished the second Professor Layton game. It was pretty good.
Yeah. How was that twist?
Oh, what a twist.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had sort of less to go on in terms of working out the twist this time than I did in the first game. The first game, I was like halfway through the game, and I was like, well, I know what's happened here. I can see what's happening here. Second game, it's like way more expansive, and there's like way more threads that get wrapped up like right at the end, and
yeah,
so there's like
I played this like a decade ago, so it's hard for me to get.
Yeah, but this is good. Layton's good.
Yeah, third one is my favorite. Sentimental to me, and I also think that its reveal is one of the most bonkers.
Okay.
Does everyone have like a big twist?
Yes.
Okay.
And they're mystery games. Well,
I suppose.
Well, they're puzzle games with a mystery in the story.
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense.
He's an archaeologist. That's what they do, right?
Yeah, archaeology. It is funny when he has to tell Luke, he's like, did you forget that I'm an archaeologist? And Luke's like, I did forget that you were an archaeologist. That is correct.
It comes up, like, it's not what the games are about. Sometimes he is like, listen, I do have to, like, to give lectures at the University of London. Like, that is my job.
The Professor Layton vibe to me is that some guy tells this beautiful, like, sad story in this, this strange art style, with this, mournful little DS soundtrack. And then Luke voice comes in going, "Blimey!"
Yeah. It does need to underline that it is the level 5 art style.
Luke voice is important to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I have Return of Ultraman.
You have Return of Ultraman.
Which is not the next episode we're talking about, but,
No. Good old Return of Ultraman. Good old Shin Man.
Shin Man. That's his name.
That's his name.
It is funny they, like, called him Ultraman in one episode.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're just gonna call him the name of the show now, in Taro. And also Shin Man.
And also just Ultraman sometimes.
Well, that's just,
characters are just like, yeah, that's Ultraman.
Yeah, they don't know.
I'm back.
They don't know a second Ultraman hit the Earth.
No, they don't know. One day, to be honest, both of them have been on Earth at the same time, and no one's been like, wait, hang on.
Well, it's like the bigger Luke theory on Star Wars.
True.
Like, oh, have you ever seen both Ultramans in the same place at the same time?
No.
Yes, actually, I have. Well, that's nonsense.
I still kind of want to learn Huttese.
Maybe it was a second Zoffy. No, you don't. What would you use Huttese for?
To befriend Sebulba.
Oh, you know what? That's worthwhile. Does Sebulba speak Huttese? Probably.
Oh, he's gotta. He's living on... Listen, if Sebulba doesn't know Huttese, he's fucking up.
I got fucked up because,
what he does and where he lives.
Did Sebulba's podcasting? Did Sebulba's pod racing career continue, or did he quit and become a pod racing podcaster? Now this is podcasting.
I'm
the
fucked
thing
up
is,
Yes, Wikipedia itself, not even Wikipedia, says that Huttese is spoken by Sebulba and others.
And others. Ooh.
I keep getting fucked up because I hear Sebulba and think Sublorbo.
Yeah. I need.
This is so important. The Huttese alphabet was confirmed canonically from a Pizza Hut box.
Oh my fucking god!
I like how, like, American sci-fi writers doing conlang is like, yes, they have the same alphabet as the Roman alphabet.
Yeah.
With the same sounds. They have not replaced the useless letter that is Q.
That's not a use. That's part of our podcast.
Well,
I like how the Huttese Q is just a regular Q, but like it's not closed.
they removed half of it.
Where's the Huttese Q? Where's the the Huttese Q's just been like it's just been cut in half. What's going on here? Why A is an F?
The V is just a
wait, why is A just an F?
The V is just a funny V.
The V is just a funny V. The V looks like the V on like a cyberpunk company that begins with V.
This is the most...
Yeah, V is an Armored Core logo.
This is the most realistic thing about the alphabet to me is that H and S are like almost impossible to distinguish.
Oh yeah, yeah, and like people writing and people completely familiar with it going, one's a little wider.
Yeah.
No, it's easy.
Anyway,
okay.
Brad, you weren't here last week. Want to give your opinions on last week's episodes?
There was a fun time. What the fuck was that volleyball episode? That was a fun time. But yeah, that's about it.
Did you like the?
I was smiling.
Did you like the concert? The Kaiju pulled out the music.
That was something.
No, Brad does not have whimsy in his heart.
No, like I just kind of smiled and nodded along, like, yeah, this
is happening.
This is the show. This is the show.
This is why we gotta send him off to Frosty to talk about Magical Girls.
Like honestly, my favorite part of that whole batch was her playing volleyball with the kaiju in that last episode is incredible.
Yeah, it's great.
The editing on it is the
It's
little
so
white
funny.
dot that they just draw on the fucking. They just fly it around. Ridiculous. Okay, so this week we have got 3 more episodes. The last 3 episodes of Ultraman Taro, episode 51, is called Father of Ultra and the Bride Have Come, featuring the Father of Ultra and Kaiju Rindon. The Kaiju Rindon attacks right straight in.
Yep.
Zat attacks back, but Rindon chomps down on the condor and doesn't let go. Kotaro and Nambara are stuck inside, and the eject function isn't working. There's only one thing for it: self-destruction, a 1% chance of survival, and a decent shot at taking down the kaiju. They blow up, and Kotaro immediately turns into Taro and rescues Nambara from death. There was no risk at all. Taro then decapitates Rindon. The day is saved. Back at base, a roughed-up Nambara and Kotaro joke about their near-death experience, and the captain, who has decided to show up for the final couple episodes of the show, introduces a new guy, a new lieutenant to replace Aragaki, who had a skiing... I mean, he's taken up a new post on the space station. This new guy...
Also, it introduces as a funny way to say they all walk into their usual room, and there's just a new fucking guy there.
Yeah.
And they're all like, who?
New dad's there. This new guy is Nitani. Also, Nambara, your mother is in the waiting room. Is in the waiting room with a young woman. Nambara goes to see his mum, and she introduces the young woman as Tama, Nambara's bride. Huh? Well, see, Nambara, you used to tell this childhood friend of yours that you'd marry her. No. You can't take kids seriously like that. But see, your dad and Tama's dad both agreed you two should marry. No. Those fuckers are both dead, and I have my life to live. Nambara, how dare you disrespect your father's promise? Are you really so opposed to marrying Tama? No. Hang on, I didn't say... I'm sure she's... I mean, I just feel that... Oh, Nambara. Poor soul. In private, Tama explains that she always kind of assumed she would marry Nambara, and Nambara explains that his objections have nothing to do with her, but rather his line of work is extremely dangerous, and it would be irresponsible to have a wife. Tama is still upset, and...
I'm always telling ladies this. It's just, I wouldn't want you to be sad if I, fucking died, you know?
Yeah. Tama is still upset and runs off. She decides to go visit the body of the kaiju that Nambara destroyed.
Yeah, people are just like sightseeing.
Along with his mum. However, while there, the kaiju's head reattaches to its body and Rindon is revived. Shit. Zat attacks and Kotaro and Nambara try to rescue Tama and Nambara's mother. Unfortunately, Tama gets double zated by a falling rock and Kotaro can't transform because Nambara's mother is clinging to him. Father of Ultra steps in, kills Rindon with a giant peacock
I
feather.
would say he's not stepping in so much as just hovering in place.
He's like, takes a giant peacock feather and kills Rindon. The symbolism is lost on me, but I'm sure this probably has some sort of significance.
I didn't get it. I couldn't find anything that tripped me up.
Why the feather? It was interesting.
Tama, as she's dying, asks if she can call Nambara's mother her mother. And Nambara says, Tama, you are my bride after all. Tama dies with a smile on her face. And Father of Ultra is like, no cheating responsibility, bitch, and revives Tama. At the wedding, Nambara, Kotaro, and Kitajima and Moriyama all fidget from having to sit. Hang on. And Moriyama all fidget from having to sit Seiza for so long, which is like almost commentary on how Western all the Ultraman teams are. Anyway, they get married. Happy ending. The end.
Yeah.
It was funny getting to like the end of where they're taking part in this ceremony, all having to sit Seiza, and all of the Zat team are like, bro, we're in like a Euro show. We're like, you know, we're from the show where the headquarters is always in Paris.
Yeah.
We don't sit like this ever.
Anyway.
I believe in medical.
Miracle!
Ultraman, thank you!
So true. Thank you, Mel.
The last minute of this episode feels like a joke. It's so fucking funny. It's just like, oh, damn, I guess I really did learn my lesson. Oh, wait, no, okay, never mind. I learned the lesson, but also I get to live, thank Christ. It's really funny.
Yeah. I don't know why Father Ultra is just hovering like that.
He's just hanging out. He's just chilling.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, he's got to hover somewhere. This I quite like, because, you know, this is one of those things that sucks where it's like it, you know, puts people in a shitty situation where it's like, not, you know, number is like, I didn't ask for a wife to get handed to me today. I don't want that to come off as like anything about you, about Tama, right? And that kind of stuff is like classic arranged marriage drama,
Yeah.
Type stuff.
Like, and also I think it's like
on TV and movies forever.
Yeah. Also, I think it's, you know, there's an element of like the changing times. Like, people are getting married like older.
Mm-hmm.
And also just like the whole arranged marriage thing is just like not as much of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's, I guess it still kind of is a thing in Japan if it's still showing up in like a Mega Ranger, but you know, in the 90s. To the extent that it gets adapted into Power Rangers with zero editing somehow.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's really funny. They just, the episode
It's
about
it's two in there.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, they made like there was an episode of Mega Ranger where like the grandmother comes to try and help do an arranged marriage thing, and for whatever reason they adapt that one to in space.
I will say a lot of this episode does rub up against like the first Muv-Luv games like plot for one of the rounds.
That's funny.
It's pretty funny. I also, by the way, I was curious enough to do some cursory Googling, and I think this is the best answer we're going to get on English internet, but I did find this Kyoto National Museum article discussing this Buddhist painting, and it does reference the peacock's feather being a symbol of like the power to prevent a disaster. So like I guess that kind of could tie in with like he saves her from death.
Yeah, I would contend that he didn't prevent a disaster so much as undo it.
Yeah.
Did Control Z on that.
So, you know, sometimes you know, you see Nambara go, okay, well, you know, I can just take the easy out here and just tell Tama, well, obviously you're my bride, and then she's gonna die, and then you know, I've done my duty, and then Father Roach is like, haha, fuck you, you have a wife now.
it's just like Ultra and Arc, where they're like, imagination is not about the past, it's about the future, and then they restore the buildings to how they were before.
Yep.
I don't know if the drama is working with me for this one.
Oh, it's not. It's ridiculous.
Now, I don't want to be the guy that's like, man, the woman should have been fridged, but
I can't believe.
I mean,
I want you to use those exact words right now.
Be honest. I'm torn because, like, on one hand, the medical miracle is like contrived, but on the other hand, it's also contrived to just do the thing where like, oh, she just dies because
I did describe it as getting double zated.
Yes. Like neither of these
rock
outcomes,
falls.
neither of these endings were good. Once the rock
This
drops,
is true.
like they could have just not done the drop.
I do think I would have preferred if she died, but
I think it's a weird choice to have death as the stakes. The stakes are already there. It's the fact that she's it sucks. It's the fact that the relationship situation sucks because she's like, you know,
that is true.
Yeah.
She's into Nambra and he's like, well, I didn't know I was going to have a wife until this morning. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's already established. Why is death on the table? What's going on?
Yeah,
they could have had a really powerful conversation of her being like, I see now the nature of what you do, and either being like, and I still want to make this work regardless, or I understand now that we cannot be together. And I think actually both of those could be pretty well done if they,
they didn't drop a rock on her.
Yeah.
It's cheating. It's just dirty rotten cheating. To just go like, yeah, you know, I can't be fucked to like put in the hard work. Drop a rock on her.
Yeah. I feel like the implementation of Father of Ultra in this episode is also cheating, because I feel like that isn't a guy in a suit. They just put like a JPEG hovering in the sky. The way it's fucking censored with the fucking Return of Ultraman flash. I don't know what's going on in this episode at all, production wise. I don't know why. I don't know why he's like that.
We're wrapping up in 2 weeks. We're done here. Go home.
But Leo starts next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, no, it doesn't.
Well, it doesn't, but you know.
We will get to that later. Who made these episodes? This episode. These episodes. Imagine if this was a 2-parter.
This one was directed by Masadori Kake and then written by Bunpei Ai. 2 mainstays for the series.
Special effects director was Jun Oki. Rin Dawn was designed by Takashi Shimazaki, and also because we have a new vice captain for 3 episodes, Kazumi Nitani is played by Noboru Mitani.
Yeah, he'll be in. He's around for 3 episodes.
I think it's funny that they made a captain and a vice captain, and then they made a captain and a vice captain. The main captain was gone for most of the show, and so the vice captain was basically the captain. Mm-hmm. But as soon as like the vice captain gets like a broken leg, and they get to replace,
they replaced him instead of bringing back the captain.
But they also brought back the captain. And I just like, you could have just brought back the captain. You didn't need a new guy.
Yeah.
They should make a spin-off where this guy and Dan from Ace hang out.
Dan from I see. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it took you a minute, didn't you?
Yeah. What happened to that child? The investigation starting soon.
We're not
died skiing accident. He died on that mountain. I know it. It's always skiing. So Nitani. We're gonna get more about this guy next episode because it's his episode. He inherited an episode from Aragaki. I don't like this guy.
I don't either.
He's well, you know.
What are you gonna do?
I guess you could have just had the captain. I guess the guy you already had. You managed to bring him back.
We've been going this whole show going like, wow, production really held together. And right at the end, fucked it.
I feel like this is the least the actual like team has mattered or like they've given a shit about it. So I really like that as soon as one of them's gone, they're like, fuck, we need to replace this guy. it's so weird. It's
gonna come up in the next episode. It's
Kotaro in episode 52. Nitani, you were my father.
Yeah. Well, you say that, But the whole final stretch of the next episode, we're going to get into it. Clearly, we're kind of done talking about this episode already. Do we want to get into the next episode?
Yeah.
Or do we have anything? Okay.
Episode 52, Steal the Life of Ultra.
You fucking taking my fucking job. Okay, read my summary from where you are.
Yeah, the fucking, Shin Man is flying in space, fighting another monster.
Can I get right summary?
Episode 52, Steal the Life of Ultra, featuring Ultraman Jr. and Thief Kaiju Dorobon. As the lieutenant, the new guy Nitani would normally be exempt from the biannual physical test, but he's determined to participate, so months ahead he is already training hard. Back at base, Zat picks up the signal of a fight between Ultraman, the sequel to Ultraman, and Dorobon, a kaiju with a club and a lamp. Dorobon wins and heads to Earth and starts demanding that Taro comes out. As the team is heading out, Nitani is suffering from overworking himself in training. Good job, Nitani. On site, he insists Zat should get closer for their attacks, and everyone else is like, well, that seems dangerous. And he says, impossible wasn't in Napoleon's dictionary, and danger isn't in Zat's. And then everyone flies closer and gets knocked out of the sky. Good job, Nitani. Nitani flies in for his attack run and crashes into the lamp. Good job, Nitani. He lives, luckily, but now, even when Kotaro turns into Taro to fight Dorobon, he can't attack for risk of killing Nitani. Good job, Nitani. Nitani feels so bad about this that he attempts to shoot himself to make things easier for Taro, but his gun doesn't work. Good job, Nitani. He then tries to use the Condor's engines to irritate Dorobon into crashing him, but no such luck. Good job, Nitani. I hope it's clear how I feel about Nitani. Taro has to retreat, and Kotaro encounters Hideki Go, aka Ultraman, the sequel to Ultraman. Shut the fuck up. It gets me like every time. Go explains there is a war happening in space, and Dorobon wants to enlist an Ultra to join his mercenary team or something. Kotaro says, does he know I'd obviously never do that? And Go says, but what if he offers Nitani's life in exchange? And Kotaro is like, who cares about Nitani? I mean, damn, what a fiendish plan. Go has his own plan. I would love to know what it was, because it can't have been what happens. What happens is this. Go turns into Ultraman, the sequel to Ultraman, and agrees to take Nitani in exchange for joining Dorobon. Nitani is freed, and Dorobon grabs and removes Ultraman's color timer. Oh no, Ultraman, the sequel to Ultraman, is completely deflated in burning green flames, and
They sucked up the shit.
I'm desperately, frantically trying to scramble for a blowjob joke immediately.
Well, you know, episode 1 of Ultraman blowjob angle.
Yeah. Kotaro is like, well, I'm not honoring this deal. Turns into Taro and fights Dorobon. He conserves his strength until Dorobon's stolen color timer starts flashing, and then Taro goes all in, thrashing Dorobon, taking back the color timer, and restoring Ultraman, the sequel to Ultraman, and then takes him up to the sun to rejuvenate him. Nitani leads Zat to deliver the coup de grace on Dorobon. Back at base, Nitani refuses to sit in the lieutenant's chair, and Kotaro and the rest admonish him and insist he's the lieutenant, he always has been, and always will be until he dies. And I'm like, didn't he join last week? The end. Why do you all like him so much? He's new dad. You gotta put up a little more resistance to new dad.
This could have been anyone else on the team, I think. There's a...
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say there's no continuity, except I was gonna make a joke about how last episode also had continuity by bringing back Nanbara's mom.
Mm-hmm.
But
that is true.
But also, yeah, I just like dying Go more than anything.
Always like to see Go back. We like Go.
Yeah.
So one thing that is apparent here is that. Okay, thank you. I every time you do that is just like that little bit more work I have to do.
My bad.
That's fine. Yeah, so there's one thing here which is like, if this was actually an Aragaki, because this guy's old is the idea. He's older than the rest of them. But if this was an Aragaki episode, realizing that what the beginning of this episode actually is just a episode about a fat guy trying to exercise. I was like, okay, guys.
Yeah. Fat phobia, not good. Also, I don't think Aragaki is like that reckless.
Here's the thing: Aragaki not fat, but they do talk about him like he's fat.
Yeah. Also, he's like not reckless in this way, really.
No. So this is just an episode where they have like Control F find replace Aragaki with Nitani. And it just doesn't work because I don't like Nitani.
Yeah, it sucks because like I really like the Kaiju. I don't think Joe's appearance. Yeah, it has a club and it like the lamp thing. It's neat. I don't think this Go appearance is as fun as his appearance in like the big crossover where like they all showed up in weird cowboy outfits. I do think his inclusion here is fun. I think the color timer thing with being like, oh, the Kaiju doesn't know like the rules of it, or like I thought was kind of fun is like, oh, the Kaiju is irresponsible with it and is like taking it too far. I thought was a fun choice, and actually is maybe the first time in a while that I'm like, yeah, the color timer. I'm happy it's in the show.
Yeah, like they found a way to like make it like interesting as a plot point rather than just like it's part of the formula.
Yeah, because over time it just kind of becomes a thing where it's like, oh no, Ultraman's color timer is running out, and
that
like
means he's
we
about
all
to win.
know. Yeah, like we all know, like that's not a real threat in the show. So to make that like to spin it around as like, oh, it's not a threat for him, it's a threat for the monster this time is fun.
Ultra 7, whenever anyone's fucking color timer starts flashing, Ultra 7 like, oh no, maybe he's about to win. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Ultra 7 gets sick of color timers probably.
Oh, probably. It's like, you know, when you have like the fire alarm battery gets low in your place, and you don't have the replacement, so you just have to deal with it for a bit. That's his life all the time when he hangs out with the other Ultras.
Yeah.
It's like doo 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 doo. It's like Jesus Christ.
You should fucking fix that.
Yeah.
This continues. The question, you know, I continue to have my question. What does this mean about Ultra 7? What does it mean that he doesn't have a color timer? Why have you included him in the continuity if he's like, what is it? Is this like Ultra disability? But it's like he's fine. I don't.
What if he's like Qui-Gon Jinn?
Oh, he like voluntarily gave it up.
Yeah, but like, what if the other Ultras do it as like a limiting thing to be like, we can't misuse our powers, and like he's like, I can simply fucking handle it.
I'm just cool.
I'm just gonna do the right thing.
He definitely always does that.
He definitely always does that.
Don't get me too cold though. I need my blankie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do really like the kaiju in this episode. I do like the fact that the fight has like actual mechanics around the color timer. I think that maybe I would just like this episode if Aragaki was here fucking up and making mistakes, and I was like, oh, that's my guy. That's the lieutenant from this show that has been in the show the whole time. It'd even feel
fine if it was like the original captain. Like I just like that guy more.
Yeah, if it was any guy, if it was Kitajima, if Kitajima was like promoted to lieutenant, they should have promoted Kitajima to lieutenant. The fuck are they doing?
Yeah.
Kitajima, guy we like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
The guy of the show.
Very true.
Honestly, yeah.
Very true. There's always one.
Yeah.
A
collection of guys.
Yeah. Who made this episode?
This episode was made by Masanori Kake and then written by Toshiro Ishido.
Okay.
This is an Ishido L. I feel like we've seen much better from him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might not even necessarily... Because, again...
It might not be his,
the script is probably all there. It's just that they had to put a new guy in and we don't like him.
Yeah.
Because he's a loser.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fucked up when Natani's actor is like Ultraman Leo. I would die.
Don't worry, you don't gotta worry about
that.
It's gonna be the woman.
I mean,
from
after
last
the
week.
Taro boat guy situation, like,
yeah, we're never getting a better one of those ever again.
No, but like it does kind of instill that like everything is a cake thing. Where I'm just like, I don't know what to believe anymore.
I see.
Yeah. Any of these random motherfuckers can be an Ultraman starring role in a future show.
This Huttese D is literally just the D from the Beyond of Dune logo. Anyway.
I'd have to switch back over to look at the Huttese D. Yep. Brad, was there something about that sentence you found funny?
Yeah, there was.
This is something you find risible, Centurion.
Anyway.
I don't know what you could have been referring to. Anyway.
I should get my opinion, I guess.
Yeah, go for it.
So the next director is Jun Oki. Dorobon designed by Yoshi Suzuki. Seems the design document included like, oh, there's going to be a slot where we put in the color timer. Just, it's like...
I see.
Integral to the thing. So yeah.
I suspect Dorobon is high on my list. I haven't reviewed my list since I did it. I just did it and
I haven't looked at my list.
Same. Either. I'm gonna be real. I really struggled. I feel like with this series of being like, fuck, what was this one's deal again?
Yeah.
We didn't talk about, so episode 51's Kaiju is like the most clocked out we're going home kaiju ever.
Yeah, he's just like a dinosaur.
It's just the most normal kaiju that's ever lived.
Is the little dinosaur that got the horn.
Yeah.
Dorobon, you know what's funny better. Is I'm looking at the Rindon was last episode's kaiju. I'm looking at the photo and I remember there being wings when there was clearly not wings on him. Like, I invented more interesting
Mandela effect on the wings.
Yeah. Dorobon is much better, though.
Yeah. I mean, we don't often get, like, an ape kaiju, so,
Mm-hmm.
Despite, Eiji studying frame by frame.
Yeah. What else do we have about this episode? What's going on in here?
I like that Ghost still has the fucking cowboy monk outfit.
Yeah, I appreciated that.
I hope it comes...
Yeah.
I think this could have been anyone, but I was happy it was Go.
Yeah.
Well, no, it couldn't have been 7, actually. But,
yeah, I think it feels like it makes the most sense. Because Go is a guy and Hayata isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they're good. They
fuck Hokuto.
I'm sure the more Hayata shows up again,
Hokuto doesn't have plans.
Well, he's also dead. But yeah.
What was Go's plan? In this, because he is his plan to strike a deal,
crushing this plane,
and become part of this. It's just kind of I don't know what the plan was. Go. I'm not sure.
If I took out your color timer, would you die?
Lol.
You can auto finish that.
Yeah. Do we have anything more to say about this episode?
I don't think so. What a weird... Is this the weirdest penultimate episode we've ever had?
No, because we had a Ueno episode as a penultimate episode before.
See, I don't know if that's weird. I do think that's just fucking funny. This is just weird.
It is weird because it's like a crossover with one guy as penultimate episode. And also the fact that like it's a character episode for a guy we just met who is meant to replace a character who had to leave because they got hospitalized.
Yeah.
So I guess yeah, it is a pretty weird episode.
God, the Aragaki actor watching what was supposed to be his episode on TV and going, man.
Were either of you also like going into this being like, oh, what if it's a two-parter?
No.
No.
I was until like so. I saw that the plot was about this guy, and I was like, there's no fucking way it's a two-parter.
Lol.
So
he shows up, has an episode, fucks off. Get out of here, Nitani. Loser. Episode 53 is called Farewell Taro and Mother of Ultra.
The final.
Featuring Kaiju Same Kujira and alien Valky. Kotaro has a weird dream. He visits his mother, the Mother of Ultra, in human form, who shows him a vision of a future disaster. The Nichimaru, the ship that he arrived in Tokyo on, the one where Kenichi and Sari's dad is the captain, is attacked and destroyed by a kaiju. The Mother of Ultra explains this cannot be prevented, and soon Kotaro will have to... Well, he'll know when the time comes. Kotaro wakes up and Kenichi is there with his best friend, and tomorrow both of their dads are returning from their trips out to sea. Isn't that great? And Kotaro's like, yeah, hopefully. The other kid's dad is killed in a kaiju attack on his ship, and he's mad that Zat and Taro couldn't do anything about it. Kenichi tries to reason with him that they are not to blame, but is unsuccessful. That night, Zat heads out to patrol in search of the kaiju. They find the Nichimaru. It gets attacked by the kaiju, leaks oil, and bursts into flames. Kotaro realizes that he can't transform into Taro in front of Kidajima, the co-pilot in the Condor. Zat attacks, but it's futile. The kaiju escapes, and there are no survivors from the Nichimaru. The Zat captain gives Kotaro one job: take care of Kenichi. Kotaro asks if he could delay telling Kenichi about this. The captain warns Kotaro that he will find out one way or another, and says, your manner at the moment will be very important to Kenichi. Leave that to us. You focus on that. Kotaro goes home and decides he's not going to immediately tell Kenichi his dad is dead, instead waiting until a better moment arises. All together now. Perfect plan. It doesn't fucking work. It's hilarious how much it doesn't fucking work. They meet outside, walk inside, and Saori is there saying, yo, our dad's dead, the company just called. Kenichi feels betrayed. Unfortunately, the kaiju appears at this inopportune moment. Kotaro heads out and turns into Taro. He has a big fight with the kaiju and also a completely irrelevant alien called Valky who warps in midway through the fight and warps out right at the end. No idea. Anyway, Taro...
I rewound because I was like, did I fucking miss something?
Nope, it's nothing. Anyway, Taro destroys the kaiju and Kotaro finds Kenichi destroying his Ultraman figures. He says, Taro should have been there to save my dad and my friend's dad. Taro could have taken care of everything. And Kotaro says, okay, first of all, I'm orthodox. I believe in first Ultraman's rule that people have to earn being saved by Ultraman. Second, I'm Taro, I was there, and I personally failed to save your dad. And Kenichi is like, well, alright, well, I guess Taro really was trying his best. And Kotaro explains that it's important to stand up to life's problems without relying on Ultraman. He won't always be there to save us. And at this moment, Kotaro realizes his path forward. He takes off his badge and throws it into the sea, giving up the Ultraman identity and choosing to live and die as Kotaro Higashi. His mother in the sky is like, let's go! You did it, Kotaro. You chose to grow up. At this point...
Hey, remember that conversation we just fucking had about the fates of Ultraman protagonists?
Yeah. At this point, Alien Valky rocks up and is like, oh, wait, so you can't turn into Taro anymore? So I can just kill you? And Kotaro is like, who the fuck do you think you're talking to? And proceeds to lure Valky into an industrial area with fuel tanks where he gets Valky coated in oil, sets him alight with a single shot. Valky burns to death like Kenichi's dad. There's a huge explosion, and Kotaro escapes on fire and does the most stupid-looking, dramatic stop, drop, and roll I've ever seen. Shinada's still got it.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
He tells Kenichi that Valky was defeated by a human. They lay in the grass, exhausted, and tell each other to hang in there. Saori is forgotten entirely. Later, Kotaro has quit Zat and says goodbye to the team. The captain promises to send his goodbye on to Aragaki. Kotaro is theoretically going to study, but who knows what that means. I personally imagine he becomes a wandering hero. He heads out into the Tokyo crowd with just a little bag of personal belongings. Goodbye, Kotaro. The end. I approve of this ending because it's Shinoda coded.
Yeah. I think it is funny that Kenichi introduces his childhood best friend. It's like, yeah, this is my childhood best friend who you've never met despite living here for a year.
Add another one. Add another one to the class. This time it's my best friend. I haven't introduced him yet. Yeah, it might not be a classmate. This is a good point.
Also, yeah, I didn't realize it, but yeah, it's funny that like Saori just isn't in the finale. Not even in a Rumiko way.
No, she's here and she says, "Oh yeah, our dad died," and she's like distressed about this, and then she's off screen and she doesn't come on screen again.
Nope.
No. Her relationship with Kotaro irrelevant.
It
truly
really feels like
she vanished from the show.
It really feels like they added her to be like, well, we kind of had a thing there with Return of Ultraman and like, you know, the home lifestyle, and then they just like didn't commit.
Yeah,
they had it.
That
the thing is, they had it going for a while. This was like one of the things that we liked was that Saori and Kenichi were like in the show quite a lot. And they were, you know, and like when they replaced Saori's actor, and it was like, well, yeah, they replaced Saori's actor. Saori's like important, and like they're not gonna just like replace her with a different character like in Return of Ultraman. And then they just forgot she existed.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like Kenichi was also semi-forgotten towards the end, but right here he's like, Kenichi is now. We have to address Kenichi, but not Saori. She's irrelevant.
Yeah.
I really do like this final episode. I really like him just going, no, I don't need Ultraman Taro anymore. I'm just gonna be a dude, and then it ends with him walking off screen with a backpack, kind of like how it started. We went full circle. Like that a lot. I do think it does though highlight my beef I do kind of have with the show, especially as I'm viewing it all in totality, where I think day-to-day watching this show, episode to episode, had a really good time. I don't know that any of the big emotional swings that it takes really work, and I don't really think they're that interested in making them work. When he's saying goodbye to the team, I'm like, that's nice, but like it didn't have like a big oomph that I really wish that it did, like in say, like, I don't know, like even like Return of Ultraman would go fucks off. It's kind of like, oh, why would you do that?
Yeah, Jiro's goodbye is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we joke about the circumstance because of the whole Rumiko fiasco, but like, you know, the actual goodbye with Jiro is like good and makes sense emotionally. Yeah.
And here it's just kind of like, he's off.
Yeah. Shinoda coded. Yeah, it's interesting the way it went. And also like the inconsistency, I guess, with like who Taro is to Kotaro. Because like in the first episode, it felt like Taro was birthed from Kotaro and they were the same. And then we find out that Taro had like a childhood in the land of Ultra.
He did, but also he did not. He did, but he didn't. Is the rabbit dog still real? Is the rabbit dog canon? Tsuburaya, answer me. And then, is the rabbit dog real?
This is my question.
This is my question.
And now he's just like, you know, they separate as beings, basically.
This is so weird because I'm okay. There is no fucking way Taro does not show up in future shit as like a guy, but also like,
but it can't be Kotaro.
Then I don't give a fuck.
The thing is, he could take the form of Kotaro affectionately.
I suppose that's how they could do that if they wanted to do that.
They could have Kotaro and Taro show up as Kotaro.
Oh, that'd be sick.
They could be trying to they would be best bros. They would,
100%.
but they would also fight.
Do you want me to reveal something?
Ooh.
If it's funnier for us to not know, then no. But if it doesn't matter,
Well,
then go for
my
it.
plan was to reveal it, but
Go for it.
Yeah,
then.
go for it then.
So Kotaro's actor Saburo Shinada is a bit of an outlier in the franchise because he never shows up again.
Wow. Okay.
Oh my
I wasn't
God.
expecting that. Do we know why? Does he not want to?
Yes, I guess I can just do the expose for that now.
Yeah, I'm curious.
So
actually,
he's notable. Obviously, like he's an outlier in the franchise, which you can probably guess by like just how much guys are already showing up a lot. But one, it does seem like there was at least one case where he's almost brought back. I'll talk about that more when we get to that show. But he had a funeral to attend at the time, so it fell through, and it seemed like Susumu Kurobe and Koji Moritsugu, who are like, Hayata and Dan, regret that it fell through because it felt like it was a good shoe-in. It also seems like Saburo himself was shocked to learn that in the script, reading the script, it's like, oh, the Kotaro was like separating. That's like crazy. But it seems
and
like
he just like he sticks to it.
Yeah, well, more it's more. I don't know if I don't know how much that affected his like thing, but the quote he seems to go out with is that he's like, "Kotaro Higashi is a cherished memory from my youth, and I want to keep it as a precious memory."
Okay,
I think that's
like
fair.
he's like, I had a good time, and like maybe he had like a big break, I guess too. He's starring a role in a big show, but he also just like he doesn't feel like a need to like return.
You know what he's out there doing right now, Kotaro? He's being Jun too.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah. He and Jun would get along so fucking well.
But it also is like isn't like he's like dissing himself in the franchise or anything, because I think he does show up with like he's friends with the other alumni, and also shows up again for like interviews and like I guess fan stuff. It's just he isn't interested in like reprising the role as Kotaro necessarily.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. That makes sense.
Which is to be honest completely normal. Like
yeah,
it is more weird how much this is like everyone stays around forever.
Yeah.
Like
you still have like some of the Showa guys showing up in some recent crossover stuff. It's like you're 80.
No. He's OG Ultraman. He's not 80. 80's a different guy.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think you'd find that 80 comes after Leo, actually.
I think that's the first and only time I've ever got that joke off on you. I don't think that's ever happened. I don't think that's ever going to happen again.
Give us ownership. Give Red ownership rights of the spreadsheet.
I guess some other like stuff I note about like Shinoda as Kotaro. It seems like apparently Hashimoto, who's like the TBS producer, thought Shinoda was going to be like Saburo Shinoda was a good fit for potential protagonist, and so him showing up in Ace was almost like a teaser of like, okay, let's get you like on the set of an Ultraman show and see how you feel about it, kind of thing.
Okay,
so it was like a test run.
That is reasonable.
And because I think if you remember, like that's like probably around the time they were starting to plan Taro, like being pre-production phases. So
that was someone in the middle of Ace, someone had to start planning Ultraman.
Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah. Also, like I said, he's still friends with like the gang, and it seems like this is an interesting one. For whatever reason, he seemed to have hit it off particularly with Leo's actor, Ryu Manatsu. Like they're really good friends, and their sons were even classmates. And there's even an anecdote of like in the mid-aughts, Leo's protagonist actor got stomach cancer, and like Saburo Shinoda introduced him to the surgeon who saved his life. And so that's like, and also reinforcing their bond basically as lifelong friends. And also, I haven't watched this because like in non-translated, but CrossData did share with me this video of just like, oh yeah, here's like Dan, Kotaro, and like Leo's actors just doing like a silly video trip where they drive around and do stuff together. thing.
Oh, that's fun.
So he's like. No, he's not actively involved in the franchise, but like in terms of like, oh, there's a guy who like comes and like talks about it, talks with fans, hangs out with like alumni together. He's like still, in the loop kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun.
Yeah. And I think I don't know the degree to which it's just like a coincidence that like Taro ends this way and he decides that like that influences life decision going forward, but like it does feel like a fitting fit, both like with the ending
that he just doesn't that this actor is the one that hasn't come back.
Yeah. And also Kotaro specifically based on like how he enters the show and like even the tongue in
God, Kotaro's fucking chilling. He keeps seeing kaiju show up for the rest of his life, and he's like, that's Ultraman's problem.
Yeah.
I really like, of the endings we've seen so far, on just a fundamental protagonist level, this might be my favorite.
Yeah, I think
it's a really great conclusion.
I
think like obviously I think that we talked about how the way this particular episode is a mess in a bunch of ways. Like as a
like,
finale. Yeah.
Who the fuck is Valky?
iconic alien Valky. Yeah, like this, like as a finale, it's like maybe like questionable, but obviously elevated by like the decision to have Kotaro separate like this is like a cool and interesting choice to do. And then like, oh yeah, he does this crazy like fucking Home Alone shit to a giant alien and kills it without being Ultraman, and it's cool. And like,
yeah, and it does kind of sidestep the thing that I feel like the shows have gotten away with up to this point, where it's like, ever since the original Ultraman, it's, now it's on humanity to protect themselves, until the sequel, where also this Ultraman will show up.
Because we need another, because there's a big franchise that makes money.
Yeah.
And this one
this
being
one's
like
just
a
like,
more...
no, you can do it.
See,
Modern
Ultraman's
not just that... Oh, go for it.
Modern Ultraman's also about just making different continuities.
So it's not just that, it's also just like this is kind of like the stakes aren't about like whether humanity can stand up for it. So like he does say like, oh, Valky was defeated by a human. There is a degree to which this is about that, because Ultraman endings are about that.
Yeah.
But also like more in the forefront is this idea that like Taro was like a phase in growing up. And like this was kind of like a learning period for him, where he became like a more mature person, and now he can continue on with his life.
Yeah.
And it's it's got the parenting angle with like the mother of Ultra, and it's like about leaving the nest.
Yeah. It is weird that Mother of Ultra
and makes all like the fairy tale stuff really resonate in a way that it didn't before I knew that this is where like that all kind of led to this too. Yeah. Like tonally. Mm-hmm. It's cool. Yeah. It's really cool.
It is weird that Mother of Ultra is just like as the woman and not the actual Mother of Ultra. But
I was wondering.
It is fun they got the actress back, because I thought she'd be in the show more, and she was only in the first episode in this one. But
yeah. I mean, here's the problem with Ultraman is the number of times that they're sat there shooting people in suits, and they sit there and they're trying to figure this shit out, and they just like head in hands just go like, why are they in suits? Why can't they just be people? Jesus Christ. Why can't they be people who can express emotions with their face? I'm gonna kill myself. Yeah. Why did I take this job?
Presumably that's a problem that they don't have to worry about in the anime.
Well, yes. They fundamentally have to worry about the fact that expressive faces cost money.
Yeah. You can't
whether they're Ultra or not.
You're kind of stuck with like what a static face, for better or for worse, on a Togo suit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does still feel a bit goofy the way like, oh, you have to save yourself thing, where it's like, Kotaro probably. I mean, I guess we're in the middle of the ocean. Like, oh, there's only so much Taro could have done, but it does feel like if Kotaro wasn't so precious with like, oh, I have to hide my secret identity, he could have just saved. He could have done more to save
Kidajima's cool, man.
Yeah,
he keep that secret.
Like, if he just transformed, he could have done something, but
Yeah.
Father of Ultra will come to like save Nanbura's wife, but not Kenichi's dad.
It is it is very funny that he like he reverts back to, well, first of all, you gotta earn it. And second of all, stop being so. I'll have you know, I was trying my best.
It feels
what
appropriately.
was the thing I put in the summary? I said Oh yeah. It's like Coach said, "I am second. I'm Taro. I was there, and I personally failed to save your dad." Because I was sat there thinking, like, I don't know how this makes that better. And Kenichi was like, "That does make that better."
Yeah, I would have had the opposite response personally, but
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have too, especially at that age.
Like, it just feels. I guess it feels appropriately biblical that they're like Ultraman are arbitrary in who they actually will save.
True. I guess then sort of my general feelings on this last episode is that like there's a lot about it that I'm like, I don't care for this. And yet I just Kotaro kind of carries it in terms of like the weight of the decision at the end and the kind of possibility, the new possibilities it opens up for what being Ultraman can be as a metaphor. I think it's good.
Yeah, same. Written by Shigemitsu Taguchi and directed once again by Masanori Kake.
Special effects director is once again Jinoki. Yoshio Suzuki did both of the kaiju designs. Here is a draft design of Sama Kujira, which is like the
fish.
Yeah. Fucking just realized it literally means shark whale.
I don't like this drawing.
It's a little grody.
Wait, this is like a fucking Blue Eyes White Dragon, but a crocodile with a narwhal horn.
I guess
that is true.
I guess.
I guess that is true.
The funny thing is, Valky's design comes from like basically a rejected / like prototype suit design for Leo.
For Ace Killer? Oh, for Leo. Oh,
yeah, because apparently there's like, for various reasons, Leo was a little behind schedule, so they made like an extra episode for Taro to give it like that extra week. So it was already like, well, I guess obviously, it was going to air the next week anyway, so like it was still in production, but yeah, they had like some extra stuff lying around.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can see, if you look at the suit, you can see it. It definitely has that vibe.
Alien Valky. I'm looking
because
at
I assume
right
that
now.
Well, I know obviously Brad probably has seen Leo just because you own the box set.
Yes.
But I don't know if it's actually.
Yeah, I've seen, because like Alien Valky does look like a reverse color Ultraman, sort of like evil color.
But have you seen Leo's suit yet?
Let me look up Ultraman Leo. Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
Oh, how are these horns? I need to look at this head.
Yeah, it's a really interesting design.
I'll have to see this in motion to really get an idea of it. This is
yeah, because you only get like certain angles.
This is weird in pictures.
Yeah, it's definitely unique as far as Ultraman design goes.
It's like it's got a manta ray on its head. Anyway.
Oh, anyway, yeah. Yeah, that's my trivia. I get that, and the Cyber Ocean as the stuff was the trivia I had for you.
Nice.
Speaking of the ending, did either of you watch the Next Time On, where they introduce Ultraman Leo?
No, I didn't.
I did not have that.
I don't think I had that.
Oh my god. Okay. I'm gonna remain...
I did not have that in my on my disc.
I didn't know they had Okay, Brad. Is it the episode title of episode 1 of Leo?
No, but they say what happens in it.
I know the first episode title of Leo, so I think I know, and we'll keep it.
Yeah,
I know nothing.
I'm not gonna say anything, but it's so fucking funny because it's just like, damn, that's the ending of Ultraman Taro, and then the narrator does the generic, like, you know the next time on narrator voice, and he goes, next time on, we introduce Ultraman Leo also, and then he just says like the craziest shit imaginable, like so nonchalantly, and I'm like, okay,
yeah, it's wild they did a next episode preview for the new show start. I mean, I guess they would do that, but also it's like, you know, usually when Wonderful Precure ended, they did like a handshake, but they didn't say next time on the first episode of Idol Precure. They, you know, it's like, you know, they have a little separate promo for that saying it's coming up, kind of thing.
I think that may just be a more modern phenomenon because I do feel like Zeta to Double Zeta was kind of like
I guess maybe
just like they're like, it's the same program.
It's just I also don't remember like Ace being like next week Ultraman Taro, new guy.
I can't remember.
But that is
like
funny.
That or not.
Look forward to it. I'm excited for Leo. I don't know what to expect.
I have. This is the most I've been excited to do my thoughts on the overall series at the end of this thing for a while.
Okay, we can move into that.
I feel fucking weird.
Yeah, let's move on.
Go
to
for
that.
it.
Okay. I will save what I am excited for Ultraman Leo at the end. But so this show I think is really good at doing what it sets out to do, which is be really entertaining, episodic, weekly content to get kids excited about like a superhero story thing. I think when they lean all the way in on the fairy tale stuff, we get some real fucking bangers of like these episodes.
Yeah.
Like this show, like over time as it kind of found that angle and really like carved its own niche in on that, I think really started to win me over around halfway through. Not to say I disliked the first half at all. It's just that like when they really figure out like, okay, here's
the show is shining,
the sauce,
as opposed to just like a thing you just enjoy.
Yes. However, I would like to remind both of you of two things we said semi-jokingly during our Ace coverage that we did also start the season off with, which is one, this show is jangly boo-boo keys, and two,
you bring up the jingling keys.
And two, well, this was actually more specifically something that I said about in a bout of despair. That is, I'm terrified that the lesson they take away from Ace is that they never try again, and they just continue making a show for cowards. And I don't think we saw that realized, but I do think a little bit that Taro is a little... I don't think they're taking big swings in this show, and I wish they did more. And that does make... If I'm being honest, it does make me sad. I'm a little concerned we have now gotten stuck in the box that I've been like paranoid about Ultraman getting stuck into, where like I feel so torn because I'm having a great time, but then I also think about the shit I really love from like 7, and even like in hindsight, I think the longer I've sat in like Ace, both Ace and this show, the more I start to really like what Return of Ultraman managed to do with what it had.
Yeah, I think there's a vibe in Return of Ultraman like that just feels... There's stuff in there that I think that tickles our brain in a particular way.
Yeah. And I can't believe... Like, I wasn't expecting this to be my takeaway looking back on that show. I really missed the drama. And if they're not doing the sci-fi, like, Twilight Zone-y, Outer Limits type speculative fiction hardcore shit that like they kind of were doing early on there, and they want to lean in more on this personable stuff, I think they did it best with Return, and I wish that they could recapture that.
And I think that the loss,
because instead what they're doing,
the promise of Return was like they also like didn't do as much of it, and then the actors had to leave.
Yeah.
And go on.
Because now what we have is like what I think is unfortunately the form of Ultraman I find least interesting, which is superhero franchise show for the kids. And it's doing a great job of it. It's just I'm stuck in like, fuck, this is the form of this storytelling that I unfortunately fuck with the least.
Because like it seems like they did succeed in what they were doing, which is like make a show that sells well, and like I guess the Jingling Kings did work, because it was like a show, we want the fights to be cool, good effects, we want...
It's funny.
And I think the show at its peak is like, we like when it's goofy and ridiculous, and it's not a thing we take seriously. Like, those are the best episodes, and like the ones where it's more serious are maybe the ones that are like a little weaker, probably.
Yeah. Like, it's weird, because I'm like, I give this show an A, but I also feel like I'm giving it an A because they intentionally lowered the bar for themselves a little bit, which is a weird feeling to have, because I do like the show.
I'd say, if I had to rank the show, I'd put it high. It's definitely on the upper level. It's like a really good show, I'd say, on the whole. Solid, but I also felt like it's more... Like, I put it like, you know, I had to do like top 3. I'd do 7Q Return and then Taro Under Return for me. Where I'm like, I think Taro as a show is more well put together and consistent than Return. Like, Return has a lot of like messiness and like takes a bit to take off the ground, and then, you know, production stuff throws a wrench in like what it was going to be, and so, you know, we still enjoy the last stretch, but also it is like a compromised vision of what the show could have been. But I think like there's just like more elements of Return that hit for us, and Taro is like, even though it's more consistent, it maybe isn't as like hit the buttons quite as well, even though like it's different buttons, and those buttons can still be good. Like, you know, enjoy the fucking kaiju pulling out classical music sheet stuff, etc. Onibamba, all that stuff, delightful. But, you know,
or coming down to eat all the rice cakes.
Moshiron.
Yeah.
And I think like, you know, I do think at late release it did, like, I can get what you're saying, like, yeah, it maybe there's a bit of like don't have too big ideas or swing the fence, but I do think at least the show has its own identity by having that sort of like fairy tale through line. Like, even though it isn't necessarily always consistently there, it's just like there's an element to it that's kind of there, present, and just like in a style that I think is like appreciate.
I think this show had a little more to it when it wasn't just Child of the Week, which I realized was inevitably what this show was going to become, but
it kind of becomes easier in the end that way for probably the show writers.
It's easier to do, but also it's like, you know, you've committed to having Kotaro, Saori, and Kenichi and this kind of home life stuff with them, and there is drama.
Remember when Kotaro wanted to be a boxer?
Like, you know, the Kotaro wanting to be a boxer. There's the episode where Kenichi has like opinions about women who abandon their children. And Saori isn't there that week, but Moriyama is there, and like she like slots into the role of like the woman of the house, and it's like we're doing stuff.
I apparently found out later that
we're using the home life.
Apparently found out later that episode was apparently based off some incidents where like infants were just dropped off at like subway coin lockers and abandoned.
Okay,
which is an interesting subtext.
I, you know, and that kind of thing, and, you know, tying into like various bits of Taro which were about like kids feeling like they weren't like adults didn't get them, didn't understand, didn't like believe them, didn't put any trust in them, and this, you know, this kind of went away a little. There was kind of like a central drive to the show that kind of went away
because they doubled down on like hit of the week.
We watched them find and refine the formula until like that kind of just overpowered the other types of plots they did.
Because it's an easy way to make an episode.
And you have fucking 53 of them to make.
Yeah, like this is the longest.
I'll be fair to them. It's long. It's a lot of Ultraman to make.
This is the longest show we'll have until we get to Cosmo. So.
How long's Cosmo?
It's dumb. It's dumb long.
It's dumb long? What do you mean dumb long?
65 episodes.
Are you gonna... Huh?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, I guess you'll tell us.
We'll figure it out. I don't actually know. Well, I'll find out when we do the production actually for Cosmos. But that's like, you know, that's early aughts, so it'll be a while.
Fire the Ide gun, Cosmo!
That's for nobody.
That's for nobody.
Cosmo, dear God, do not fire the Ide. Please stop. Take your hand off. Take your finger off the trigger right now, Cosmo. We're waiting for you, Cosmo.
This is funny to me based on what surface level understanding I have of Cosmo as an Ultraman.
Okay.
But that's future.
Yeah.
I do, before we get too far away from it, Mel, you basically summarized a lot of my thoughts on how the series stack up. Like, obviously, I'm more of a person, but, like...
I assume, like, we have, like, there's some, like, the specifics are, like, different between us, but the broad strokes are about the same. I think we...
Yeah, I think this is the bottom of good Ultraman in my rankings. And that's not to say, like... bottom because it's like
so funny that the more of these we watch, it's like there's the upper rank that's like the good Ultraman, and then there's the stuff that we just don't like at the bottom, and the middle is like this is where all the skipping the queue shows go.
I hope Modern Ultraman proves me wrong.
I really hope so too. Like I think I'm warmer on it than you are, but like I also want it to be more than.
Yeah,
and like I'm also coming from like I have seen all the shows, well, most of the shows leading up to it, and so like I have a greater context, and like I like those shows, but also I don't know how I'll feel about it because I watched most of the shows leading up to Blazer as a fan and not someone doing like the criticism with you guys, and that changes.
It like immediately changes your relationship to it. Yeah,
which, I also just like
I don't
might be working in. I do think also too like it's a very real possibility Modern Ultraman is like. Serving sensibilities you have versus like stuff that I don't have too.
Yeah,
right? I do think that might just end up.
Like,
being
don't forget, I was an Ultraman fan before I made this podcast. So, yeah. And I think that's fine. I'd rather we have a diversity of opinion. Well, diversity while still having the same opinions apparently, but
yeah, I was really worried, like early on in the show, where I was like, I was enjoying it, but I wasn't loving it, and I'm like, am I just becoming a fucking hater?
Yeah.
And then it won me over, and I was like, "Oh, thank Christ!" Like, okay, no, I'm good.
But I think that sums up Taro pretty well. Like, it's a really good and solid, and some hiccups with like, some people just had to leave, and that creates problems. But also, when they have like a formula that's like kind of, sometimes you just want the formula to not be the same every week.
I will say, and this will lead into my thoughts on Leo. I do feel so. There's two other things I want to hit on that I was excited to talk about as the series wrap up thing. One, I also think this is the show I have been the most harmed by, like just being like talking about it and having opinions about it, because of my age and not being a child. Like I felt that to varying degrees with the other shows we've watched, obviously, but this is the most where I'm like, I feel like the difference of Brad at 10 versus the difference at Brad at 30 plus would be the most differing. You know what I mean? But then also too, sometimes when you watch things for a podcast, it ends up like you end up having a different relationship with it than, as we just discussed, you would be watching normally. I do feel like sometimes this show gets hindered to me because this is the 5th time I've watched this show.
Yeah.
Lol.
And they just are doing some of the same episode ideas over and over and over again. And that can be kind of hard to contend with. I think even as
a fan, if you're like maybe marathoning different Ultraman shows, you might not necessarily be watching them in release order. Like you might be hopping around eras, that probably helps a lot too. Like I'm not doing Sentai segue. Well, I have to go back to that, but I'm not doing Sentai segue in like release order, right? Like
yeah. Because there are just times where it's like, holy fuck, we've seen this twice
it's also
already,
the same guys writing these
like,
episodes.
Oh no. Yeah, it's
and
weird.
on a deadline.
So this goes to my Leo thoughts. I am I'm gonna sound so unhinged. I am rooting because I know there's a break. I am rooting for Leo to crash and burn this era of Ultraman so fucking hard.
I think that's fair.
I don't know how, but I'm rooting for it to cause problems.
Here's the thing. It can do that and also be really good.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I
need them to have a disaster in terms of like how this could be a masterpiece or it could be a train wreck. I'm happy with either one. I just need a shakeup that makes it so that they have to do something different. Dear God.
And we have after Leo, we have a break, and then 2 other Showa era shows, and then we got some other. Mm-hmm. We have a weird interregnum. And it feels like there'll definitely be a point where they have to kind of know, well, things are just fundamentally different now. And we'll get to eventually, just like a matter of when, I think. I do have to ask if seeing the next episode preview for Leo changed any of your expectations for the show, of what that was going to be.
I think so. I was of 2 minds. I feel like I've talked about this before, and we've definitely had this discussion. Absolutely. I can't remember if on or off mic, where it was like, oh, is the next one going to be super dark then, or is it going to continue being jingly boo boo keys? And I'm ready for Twisted Ultraman, is what I'll say.
You think you have a more definitive answer of what that is now?
Oh, yeah, okay. I think I do.
Okay.
Get it twisted.
Get it twisted.
Get it twisted.
Do you have any more thoughts, Red?
Any
expectations for Leo if you don't have any on Taro?
The expectations for Leo, I have genuinely nothing. I genuinely, I just have no idea what Leo is going to be. It's a black box. It's like, well, it's going to be Ultraman.
Yeah.
I wonder how Ultraman it will be. I have to wonder if it steps up the lore or steps it down a little bit. It won't do it completely either way, but well, it won't.
I feel like we're stuck in the lore zone forever now.
I hope we get. I mean,
I don't know if you put that back in the box.
We got it with Blazer.
That's true. Inevitably at some point they're gonna reboot this shit because they're like, the people that watch these are old and don't watch Ultraman anymore, and like we need.
When do you think that will be? If you'd pick a point.
Late 90s, early 2000 is my guess.
Okay. Can I warn you both? Ever since the Ultraman Blazer movie, Ultraman Blazer's climbing my rankings.
That's really funny.
No, I love this for you.
I have such powerful feelings.
I think this is like the power of recency bias, because I think
it has to be,
because
but also I liked a lot of Blazer, and then towards the end it just kind of
that's my argument,
fizzled out into a stupid plot.
We liked Blazer until we watched the last 5 episodes. And until we got to the movie, the entire show was defined by the last 2 episodes and not any of the episodes in the first half. And then the movie came back.
The Blazer movie came out, and I had spent a year making jokes about how Gento was a terrible dad, and the movie came out, and Gento was the worst dad he's ever been. And I was like, thank you. It's everything I wanted.
I'm extremely
I watching that movie and realizing I didn't want a movie where Gento was a good man.
This is the peak, classic criticism thing of the thing on screen versus the thing as it lives on in your head afterwards. And I am a huge believer in the one that lives on in your head afterwards is much more important.
Yeah.
So
this is why Zeta Gundam is very good.
Yeah, unironically, that's why Zeta's one of my favorite series.
I should rewatch it at some point. Love that show. Didn't like it when I watched it.
I loved that show as I watched it, despite realizing, there's some problems here, but that show fundamentally, rewired my brain chemistry. It was wild.
Unfortunately, the version of Ultraman 66 near Brian is not the one that's the Jamble episode.
I'll be honest. I only ever think of the Jisoji shit these days. I mean, when I think about classic Ultraman.
That's just how it goes. When I think about Ultraman, I think, wow, what a kind of not great show. And then I think, but those 8 episodes that I really like.
Yeah.
I think about the captain crouching down, smoking a cigarette in the light and the fog of the headlights.
So good.
Oh my god. It's just like, we got this one fucking masterclass artist.
Yeah.
For this otherwise whatever show. It's so funny.
Okay, what's that for Return of Ultraman for you then? The Return of Ultraman that's in your head.
Unfortunately, the Return of Ultraman that is in my head is the Marucci episode on repeat.
Yeah.
And
sometimes he strangles a child in the hospital.
Yeah, I think it's
yes, actually, let me rewind. Like, the episode of Return of Ultraman that is most important to me is when Go attempts to strangle a child in a hospital bed. That is absolutely correct.
I think it's that, Marucci, and also any... Like, this is more or less a specific episode and just the overall vibe, especially in the first half, of, hey, Go, you're being a dumbass right now, think this through. Yeah. Like, you gotta, like...
Yeah, you have to be confident, but not overconfident.
Yeah, like that sort of stuff.
The Fifth Angel episode...
Drink your damn water also was important to me.
True.
Kishida, yeah.
Actually, you know what? We're going to have a run back of Return of Ultraman in an email, so we don't have to do this.
Oh, we are. We're getting done early.
Yeah.
No expectations for Leo. I have no idea. Taro, I basically just like it, but it's like it's just there's a lot of there are missed opportunities here, but they're a lot quieter about it.
Yeah.
Because they managed to keep making a competent show after they forgot all the stuff that they had.
It's not like a seismic shift in the way that like Return of Ultraman and like especially Ace was.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. When Hokuto got divorced.
I do feel weird about this one in particular because I do also think this is maybe a weird cutoff for me where I really enjoy and like this show. If I wasn't watching this for a podcast, I don't realistically know if I would have watched the full thing. I think I would have.
That's fair.
Like, I would have just been like, oh, this is a fun kid show, and I think I would have tuned out after 20 or so.
I wonder if I would have dropped Ace.
Oh, I would have.
I'm sure you both would have, but I'm also not sure.
I'm
not sure my relationship with Ace would have been if I wasn't also doing criticism of it. If I was a bit more like,
I like watching car crashes too much. Although I was completely checked out.
Yeah.
No way of knowing.
Yeah, like, when we were in the depths of Ace, like, it felt like a chore to, like, turn it on.
Worst fear is, like, having, like, a season of that, basically.
I mean, it'll probably happen
I guess maybe we'll inevitably get our Seed era, but,
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll just, we'll just go light on summaries.
That's a good way to do it.
We'll just go light on Ultraman discussion.
Just start making fart noises into the microphone.
Yeah,
and talk about fucking water margin.
To our podcast, and it's like an hour and a half of just like everything else.
Yeah. Well, do we have anything else to add?
Was there something else I was gonna say
before we move on?
I think we should do the sorter and email stuff.
Yeah. I'll start you the color timers.
Make this a clean 3 hours. Oh yeah, color timers.
I was gonna say something and I forgot it.
Oh. If you remember, you can come back to it.
Yeah. I'm just trying to remember. Like we were talking about. What was the last thing we were talking about? Actually,
we were talking about Ace and how like it would be miserable if we had a whole season.
Oh yeah,
of
I remember now. Like, I just want to bring the question of like, how do you feel about like Taro being the number 3 show Ultraman in terms of like iconicness? Do you think that makes sense? Given what we know,
I think that's right.
Is that
Ultraman, Ultra 7, and Taro?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that's because Return of Ultraman is Ultraman returning.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's difficult, good, difficult to be iconic.
Yeah.
Taro, yes.
His name is Return of Ultraman.
Ace, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. No, for sure. That does make sense.
I figured. I just I thought because I brought it up in the first episode. I was like, let's close this.
I think that fits.
And one last question.
I do think I might. I think if you asked me before this season who my favorite protagonist was, I might have. I mean, outside of June, my king. I think think I might have said Dan. I do think I've officially gone, like, Go is my favorite human host Ultraman.
Go is a cool guy.
I like Go a lot.
Final question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We already know the answer, but I do want to ask it. Aggressive type or scientist type?
Oh, it was aggressive
What,
type.
for this
Yes.
show? Aggressive type.
Like I said, obvious,
Mhm.
but
That is your
that is my
question.
question.
So Ultra Q scientist type.
Yes.
Ultraman
Aggressive type.
They got the science patrol, but I think it might still be aggressive
I
type.
think, like,
It's
compared to
aggressive
Q
type.
and 7, definitely aggressive type.
Yes, yeah.
7 is scientist
scientist
type.
type.
Return of Ultraman, that's the question.
Return of Ultraman. Ooh, that's kind of
I think
straddling.
that's aggressive. I think Go makes it an
I think
aggressive type.
I think it is aggressive
It
type,
does.
but like,
There's nothing scientist tight about strangling a
Yeah.
child who's an alien.
I do think that I do think if compared to 66, Return is more scientist type than 66 is. Maybe.
I think Ace is scientist tight in the, like, gender essentialism sense.
Always think we need Gen X.
Oh, yeah.
I do think otherwise Ace is
It's like adjusting its glasses and going, well, I studied biology in high school.
Yeah.
I'll have you know.
Yeah.
All right.
Color timers.
Color timers.
Okay. Episode 51, 1 minute 29 seconds.
That's short.
Yeah. And then also Father of Ultra hovering in the sky for 2 minutes 14 seconds. So he shows up for longer.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 52, 2 minutes 46 seconds, and then 3 minutes 36 seconds. Shin Man shows up for 42 seconds, and then 4 minutes 57 seconds, but 3 minutes and 12 seconds of those he's dead. Taro shows up for 2 minutes and 19 seconds, and then 2 seconds when he's being rejected from Kotaro's body. And the brothers are 57 seconds.
All right,
just rounding
nice.
up some stuff. The counters. Genocide is still at 8. Giant Woman still at 10. And as of this week, Medical Miracles is now at 18.
All right.
Also,
Sick.
I have counted up all of Kenichi's classmates.
How many classmates? How many kids? I mean, first of all, is this including girls?
Yeah.
Okay. How many?
So he's got 10. He's got Toshio.
He's got 10.
He's got Toshio from episode 9. Arihito from episode 16. The second Takeshi of the show is episode 17 through 19. Shoichi episode 21. Rokuro episode 23. Takeo episode 26. Daisuke episode 31. Dawn-chan episode 32. Takeshi number 4 episode 43. And Ryuchi episode 47. There's also 25 other kids in the show.
4?
Yes, there's 4 Takeshis.
25 other kids in the show that aren't classmates.
Yes.
Wow.
That is honestly less classmates than
Yeah, that's what I was surprised by.
You said 10, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Because
I was expecting that number to be
because we also have, like, for
amusingly,
instance,
in the
like,
20s.
the 6 Ultra sibling kids, and the 3 Tarzan boys. I wasn't sure whether to count like the monks, the temple school.
Yeah,
That's
you know
different.
what? I have been conflating other children with being classmates of Kenichi
just 'cause he
in
knows
my
them.
brain.
I mean, if you count the temple school as classmates, then there's like Toro and the 2 nerds. But other than that,
What a folk story.
I do think
Toro and the 2 nerds.
I do think it's funny that there are 4 Takeshis in this show.
There, yeah, a lot of
Hey,
Takeshis.
a
lot of Dans in Ultraman.
Yeah, I mean that.
2 Uenos.
I definitely feel like that Dan in Ace was a reference. That's my vibe.
I mean, maybe, but they didn't even stick. They introduced him immediately after. I mean, I'm getting mad about Ultraman Ace again. I feel it. I feel it in my. I was checked out, and now the rage is back. It's like the episode hits. Oh, Minami's gone, and then I see the next time. It's like, oh, we introduced you the 6th Ultra brother. It's a little kid called Dan, and I was like, you fucking Scrappy-Doo motherfucker, I'm gonna kill you.
They did the same thing with Aragaki.
I'm just saying they could have salvaged it by making Dan secretly Yapul the whole time.
They could have.
Dan should have been the fucking alien Simon.
He just died on the mountain. Dan, yeah. Absolutely. You know what, Dan? Yes, absolutely. Replace Alien Simon with Dan entirely. Hokuto shoots Dan at the end.
I think this is literally the bit I did in the last day's episode. I'm dying.
Well, now that we're redoing bits from the end of the Ace podcast, shall we do Sorters?
Yes.
So there was a lot of kaiju in this show. I believe it is tied with Ultraman Ace.
I think it's it might be tied. It might be one more. Did you like how I wrote Shin Man on the sword?
It's pretty good.
Where have I put Shin Man?
Oh damn, he's really low for me. He's underneath the Rapid Dog? No.
Return of Ultraman, aka shit. What do you mean beneath the Rapid Dog? Okay, we need to do our sorts. Yeah. How are we doing? Like top, like bottom something, top something?
Let's do, bottom something and then top something, but let's forget the numbers.
I'm fine with bottom 3, top, 5, I guess.
Sure.
Okay.
So my bottom one is Tondile. I don't know what that is.
I forget that one too. There's a lot of guys I just don't remember the episode of.
Oh, are we starting with worst and then doing 75 and 74?
Yeah, I think that's what we did before.
Okay. My bottom is Ultraman Ace.
Lol.
Go fuck yourself.
Oh yeah, Tondale was the frog from the pissing episode.
Oh.
That was 55 for me somehow.
I mean, it's, they're a bunch of non-memory. I assume with the non-memorable ones are just the recency bias is an effect.
My 75th is Space Moth.
I didn't even say mine.
I apologize.
My 76 was Tagaro, which was the octopus that got killed by the crab kaiju early on.
Oh, right. Yeah, the octopus. Yeah.
Jimmy, what was yours?
Jimmy's was Piccolo.
We're gonna have to get rid of Jimmy. Anyway, now you can say your 75th.
My 75th is Space Moth. It's moths.
Yeah.
My 75th is Space, but not Space Moth. It's Space Boys. 5.
Damn. Hate those boys.
Damn.
It's just whatever.
My 75
Space
is also Space Moth because it's Moth.
You don't like Space Boy, the song?
Ring, ring, ring.
Anyway,
you know what's funny is Space Moth was 24 for me.
Why?
Wow.
Because they're moths.
The fuck?
Imagine if Saflan got that high.
My 74 was Terrorist.
Idiot terrorist.
My 74 was Yapul. I will say, whenever I got Terrorist in the sorter, I was now, do I have it in me to justify this being worse than Terrorist?
I mean, that was their dilemma with Alien Spell, to be honest.
I don't know how the fuck I got.
I think Terrorist is stronger. I think the Terrorist effect is a little more powerful. The turban is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My number 74 is Volkeller. Which is the one from that one episode where the dad is a hot springs guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I would because we're not doing top 10, I would like to reveal to Brad that your pool is my 10 and Rabbit Dog is my 7.
Nice.
Where's Rabbit Dog for me? Unfortunately, my number 10 is Android Seiko.
Lol.
I do want to clarify. Rabbit Dog is one up from Return of Ultraman and one below Terrorist.
Oh, Terrorist beat both of them?
I don't know how Shin Man got so low on this list.
That's crazy.
Bad. This is sorter logic.
Sort of logic.
Rabbit Dog was 50 for me, by the way.
All right.
Okay. I guess top 5. I guess
top 5 then.
Yeah.
I guess I will go. 5 is Orphe. He's saying
5. Oh, go ahead.
No, he's saying. That's it.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. I like King Zamura. That's my number 5. It's just a fun, good design. I like the weird claws.
Mm-hmm.
The cicada. It's like the cicada thing with like the, and it and breathes
King
fire.
Zamura is like 12 for me. My number 5 is also Orphe.
Nice. My number 4 is Ultra 7. I continue to be a 7 stan. Great design.
My number 4 is Elegia, the parrot.
Nice. My number 4 is Onibamba.
Sick. Let me tell you what my number 3 is. Onibamba.
Yeah.
You're right.
My number 3 is Pandora.
My number 3...
Oh.
Yeah, that was the mom. Kangaroo guy.
Yeah.
My number 3 is Temperor.
Nice.
Temperor was high for me, I believe.
What a goofy guy.
I like Temperor quite a bit.
Where did it get to? Only to 23, but I did like Tempera. I did like it.
Yeah.
Where's my Temperor? This is so weird. I thought it was much higher than it
my number
was.
2.
He was 39. That's low.
Oh, that is low.
Yeah.
My number 2, Enmago. I love this shit.
Yeah. You're fucking on the Kodaigon shit.
I'm on my Kodaigon shit.
We definitely have to get around. We have to figure out what day to do Daimajin for your sake.
All right. True.
My number 2, Piccolo.
My number 2, Mochiron.
My number 1 is Piccolo.
My number 1 is Mochiron.
My number 1, hit him with that special beam, could create on him like Piccolo.
Where was Mochiron? Mochiron only made it up to 12 for me.
Damn, tisk.
Tisk. I was on my Kodaigon shit.
Not in a puppetless show, which I believe this is off memory. I think Mochiron is the most Brad guy.
This show's got
Absolutely.
little guys who turn big, but you know.
Yeah.
Piccolo is fantastic.
Yeah, I love this little fucking puppet guy.
Is really good.
He just gets tired.
There are a lot of kaiju that were kind of a little unremarkable, but you know, every now and then Taro pulls out the stops and gives us like a Dorabon or a like what's Medusa? What was Medusa from?
It was the episode where like the kaiju falls from space and then another kaiju possesses Moriyama to kill it.
Oh right, yeah. Like just looking at the design of Medusa, I was like, shit.
It's a really bad.
Taro kind of had it sometimes.
Yeah. I had Taro himself at 25.
Where did I put Taro? 18 for me.
He was 34 for me.
Yeah. And it's also like designs from previous shows I just have lower just because their context isn't good. Like I had King pretty low, even though like King itself was high for my 7 ranking.
Mm-hmm.
Ultra 7 was my 23. I think he was the highest Ultra.
Like sometimes a design is like powerful still, but sometimes like I try and like consider the context of the show it's in as well in its ranking. Like
I think I'm always gonna be a kaiju over Ultra person.
Mm-hmm.
In terms
yeah,
of
I think it takes like a like Blazer was high on my one. There's like an all-out kaiju in Blazer, but Blazer's like high on the ranking because he's like a really cool and unique kaiju. But you know, and like 7's obviously cool design, but like you know, for the most part, it's like you know, the meats were in the really cool kaiju guys. Like you, at the end of the day, a silver man's a silver man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Real quick, Zoffy check. Mine was Zoffy was at 54.
Where's my Zoffy?
I fucked up early in the sorter. I noticed very quickly that I had fucked up big time on where Zoffy was going. I was watching Zoffy get further and further down the list, and I was like, no, this is a disaster. I fucked this up. Where is my Zoffy?
My Zoffy's at 48.
my Zoffy is at 36, and I was like, this is a travesty.
Here's Zoffy.
36. Here's Zoffy. All right. Do we want to do some emails?
Yes, we should. Do you want to do Mothra Fanboy's email first, and then we do the Taro finale stuff?
We can do Mothra Fanboy's email. Here's the thing about Mothra Fanboy's email. It doesn't necessarily have to be as in-depth on the way we went in on Ultra 7.
Yeah.
when emailed about Ultra 7. Yeah, we can go for that.
Yeah, first of all, I'm just going to say they did send the ending paragraph to their ARC email. Like a cut halfway through.
Oh, yeah. Lol.
Yeah, they're just like, nah, Swede. But anyway, yeah. Just to complete that paragraph, last 3 episodes, they say peak, Arc loses, blah, blah, blah. Episode 44 is a dream, nah, Swede, peak. Peak, Arc loses, struggles, and episode 24, damn, is all dream, nah, Swede returns, finally was really good, and I'm really happy with it. Okay, yeah, there's basically one sentence left. Okay. Great show overall. Which Arc monster do you want as a pet?
Which arc kaiju do I want as a pet?
Yep.
There's a I can't.
Oh, Kanegon. This is easy for me.
I don't want Kanegon as a pet. That sounds like
He's
a
a guy.
fucking nightmare.
Do you know how hard the Brad Kanegon Drakengard 2 LP would go?
What the fuck are you talking about? The Kanegon's on your Let's Plays now?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I need to
do like a crypto rug pull at some point.
This is true. You can do that. Do they have a list of kaiju on this? Okay, we do.
And if you want the Noisler as a pet?
I do not want the Noisler as a pet.
Actually, I almost, when we were on the shuttle for a hotel for Frosty's, which was the Hyatt place, one of my friends was like, "Oh, we're almost to the Gyat place because it's spelled Hyatt." And then there was a moment of silence, and then the person sitting in the shuttle row behind us just said, "Please don't call it that."
I don't think I want the tiger who loves exploding as a pet.
I'll have the rat. I like rats.
I think a rat's a good one. Okay, and now on to their Return of Ultraman email.
I'd have the parrot that makes dreams come true, and then suddenly UP would not exist.
Okay.
I did like that comment about exploring my psychology for why I irrationally hate UP.
We must find out.
I don't have the answer either. Right? I did actually listen back to the first episode, and it just starts with I don't like the look of that thing. It makes me uncomfortable, and then it grew.
We will do the psychic dive into your mind like Somnium Files.
Yeah, I ain't finished.
Now, let me tell you about the Ultraman Arc Kaiju rankings.
Wow.
Well, I'm shocked. Unfortunately, you have to wait a year to actually rank them, and then you'll forget everyone. Because
that movie's gonna be about UP.
I don't think it will be, actually.
And I'm gonna love it. I'll be like, damn, this changes everything.
Brad, I have a special.
I'm so sorry.
Brad, I have a special relationship with UP. I hate that.
We each get one.
Okay, Mothra Fanboy finished Return of Ultraman, and I liked it. They kind of divide the show into 3 parts. They think it's like, oh, they figured it out first, third. Then they start to make, better episodes, and then it's kind of peak through the last bit with some exceptions. They say it starts off with 3 mid episodes, but then, they were like the first 2-parter with Twin Tail and Gudon. Then it starts to pick it up around episode 15. They do question the episode about the kid who kidnaps the child.
Oh yeah.
And I think that was one of
he just kidnaps a child for some reason.
I forgot
He just does an evil thing for no reason.
I think that was the first medical miracle too.
It might have been.
The thing is, I didn't count medical miracles
it's an episode that only makes sense if you pretend that the child did not kidnap another child at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, I did not. I don't know if I don't actually know if there's any medical miracles in the previous shows. So they do kind of just start at Return to Ultraman. They sound like us. They enjoy the Terrachillis two-parter. They like Seven's appearance again. They liked Beacon. The kickboxing one, yeah, we like that one. And Jiro and Bride's Monster, those are the good ones. So the middle batch. They arrived to the Masterpiece season. I don't know if Bunga Oxer is actually counted, but yeah, they like Bunga Oxer. They like Ghost Shining Like Child. Don't care for the one with the moth who's frozen. They like Emergy. They like Go's mad scientist friend who is clearly gay. Big light. Oh yeah, Prisma. Yeah. They also think that the Knackle two-parter is mid. Don't care for the Winter Horror series. Then they feel like
that's sinful. That's sinful. The moment where he obliterates that little guy has to live in your has to live in your mind.
They do say that like the last stretch of the show feels like a Ultra 7 like retool, which they kind of like. They like the Bolton showing up again. They also like Kashida's romance and Yamaterans. They said the Space War episode, but I kind of forgot what that was. I forgot what that was.
No, they mean the episode with... This is a great episode. This is the one with the alien that's hiding out on Earth because he doesn't want to get involved in the Space War.
Oh, yeah, that was cool. Yeah, that episode's sick.
Yeah.
That's like locked in go.
With the really long nose.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good.
That's the one where we first started to be like, Go's Ultraman now.
Yeah.
And also the one with the amazing image of, first of all, I have no quarrel with you.
I forgot about that one. That's good.
I need to find that image again.
It's good.
It's really funny.
The finale of the show is spectacular, if you ask me. Not as good as Ultra 7's finale, but what is. But it's great, and I love for Zedar returning. I mean, I've gotten spoiled of Go's death when I was halfway through Ultra Q, but luckily he didn't, so did I really get spoiled? I don't know. I mean, Jiro Dan died, unfortunately, but life. My favorite kaiju for that some reason was King Mai Mai from the episode they said they didn't like. The least favorite was Zazan from the big. It was like a seaweed monster from episode 1 that gets owned.
Oh right.
Yes, that's yes. Thank you, Brad. Best episode is the Monster User and the Boy, so Emergy episode. Worst is Monster Island SOH, which I just forgot. I don't remember that episode at all.
Monster Island SOS. I'm looking this up.
By the way, I have a little fact for you. I found out a couple days ago. Akira Jisoji directed The Birth of Ultraman, the stage play.
That's cool.
They interrupt.
I'm not sure if this is how you spell 9th Ultraman wiki.
They interrupted their email mid-email to say, I have to go back and watch the fan film, so they did that.
Lol.
And I said, I'm back. Thank you. I appreciate you editorializing the process of writing the email. They don't have much experience with the works of Hideki Anno, but I will say they enjoyed it. I do think it's a bit funny they just have a mask but give him anything else. Yeah, he does just become Ultraman. They also have said, unsurprisingly, they also have nothing to say about Ultra 7F. Yeah. We did just wait 5 months for that for no reason. They say they're really looking forward to Ace, even though Ultraman Normal was mid. I still enjoyed it. I haven't downright disliked any of these shows so far. Well, that was us, but yeah, if you enjoy it, that's fine. You don't have to agree with us. Actually, it's better if you enjoy yourself than watch something you hate.
Yeah.
And
there are people who like Ace.
Yeah.
Power to them.
Power to them. Their show rankings as
They're wrong.
from top to bottom, their rankings are Ultraman, Ultraman Arc, Ultra Q, Return of Ultraman, and then 7.
Did I say from top to bottom?
Yeah, they're
Or from bottom to top?
I fucking whatever. 7 was a favorite.
Yeah, yes. I wasn't sure if I'd misheard or something.
They say they're annoyed they didn't line up with the Taro finale. Well, we did that for you by accident. So there you go. Thank you for your emails, Mother Fanboy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they
thank
also
you.
they also said which kaiju from Return of Ultraman would have as pet.
Okay. Return of Ultraman's kaiju. The problem is that
This is when we're starting to get like dinosaur brain.
Yeah.
And like a way where I'm like,
Oh,
I just
maybe the King Crab.
Ultraman.
No, that was Ace. Fuck.
Damn.
vacuum no.
That.
What could go wrong?
I don't want any of these as pets.
I have Danica, the Cancer constellation crab.
Okay. I'll take.
Twin Tails.
You know what?
Twin Tails also good.
The one that is under that's the hermit crab using the the satellite,
Jiro rides a monster.
the spaceship. Yeah, Jiro rides the monster. I'll have that as a pet.
Yeah, what was his name again? Yado Karen.
Yeah, that's all right.
You know what? I'll take Beacon.
Beacon's cool. You know what? Baby Kingstron.
Oh, true.
Okay. Thank you.
All
Is
right.
that the one they like drag out in a cage and execute? Am I remembering that right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's they put it in the cage. The children watch them execute. It's squeaking in there like a cute little thing. It's like, yeah, we have to safely dispose of this alien.
I forgot. It looks like it literally. Like, look at this image and just hear like is the. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This little guy. Just don't shoot me, please.
Just blow him up.
I should edit that clip with the "Stop! Don't kill me" scream.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for emails. I'll move on to the actual Taro emails now.
Yeah.
First one's from Cross Zeta.
Hello.
Hello, Ultra Q. Congrats on finishing all of Taro. A show that for this time around I end up much more positive on. I think my feelings on the show are that it was not a show that should be binged all at once. Yeah, I can see that being
Yeah.
a good deal of the show centers on the funny situations that Taro and the casket put through. Something I did feel this time around is that the kaiju designs were a lot weaker than how they were in Ace. I think we're just kind of in this era.
Mm-hmm.
I've been kind of on the kaiju designs, I'd say, since like Return of Ultraman.
Yeah,
I'd say sometimes we get really cool ones.
There's flashes of brilliance in a miasma of whatever.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
It's a new monster every week, unfortunately.
Yep.
Yeah, I think there's probably a reason why like Modern Ultraman probably just like brings back the classics a lot more. Well, one for a bunch of reasons, but two, it's like there isn't a reason to make a new guy if you already have a guy who can do the same thing.
What if they did 50 episodes, but every episode was basically a two-parter?
That's just how Heisei Kamen Rider does shit.
Now, perhaps I suggested this because I'm watching Kuga and going, this is just good.
Yeah.
This is you just have setup and payoff. What you have a setup one week and payoff the next week. That's it for the whole show.
A new monster every third week.
Every third week.
Every fortnight.
So true.
Every Will Smith voice fortnight.
Yeah.
Lesser collection of guys. I don't think the special effects were that on point for most of the show. Overall, I did enjoy the more comedic tone of Taro. Sits more in the middle of the pack of shows in this era. The bottom two kaiju are Mushra is the worst, followed by Alien Terrorists, the second worst. Then from fifth to first, Tyrant, Piccolo, Android Seiko, Mother Ultra, and then Margot.
And Margot, that's true. Kodaigon gang.
I hope y'all enjoy Ultraman Leo. It's my second favorite show from the show era of what I've seen, and also has my favorite opening from this era as well.
People like in... right. Leo crash and burn, but also be a masterpiece at the same time.
Yeah,
that's how it's going to crash and
burn.
burn.
For.
It's going to be a tragic victory.
They're going to be like, you made a show so fucking good that the kids hated it.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's cinema, baby.
Thank you for your email.
Thank you for your email,
Zeta.
Next we got Logan.
I'm glad that I wonder if this will hold up for if anyone else sends in bottom tier kaiju rankings, but it's funny that we have all, we all have the principle of Alien Terrorist is low, but,
yes.
but we all also have personal tastes that surpass the principle, which is like, no, but they are just fucking moths. Yeah, I get that this one is super racist, but also I don't like the mushroom one. I think the mushroom one's gross and stupid.
We didn't talk about how in that first and when the mushroom first shows up in the episode, it just looks like a giant dick.
That's just how that's mushrooms.
I think
baby.
our podcast is above such jokes.
Yeah, you're right.
Shut the fuck up. Let me send you a screenshot I took from when I switched over to decibels for a fucking waveform, and I was like, well, I have to log this for posterity.
Oh my fucking god.
This is completely by accident.
Amazing. Anyway. Hello, Logan.
Hello.
Another year down, and with it, another Ultra series. I had a lot of fun watching Taro, and probably would rank it third overall after 7 Ultra Q for Showa Tsuburaya. I feel the series was very consistent across its run, unlike a lot of other shows from this era. While it does not reach the heights that 7 or Return reached, I feel like it didn't try to ace. It didn't try to Ace did and fail or stumble a while to figure out its identity. From the get, the show wanted to be a fun, lighthearted time, and I think it succeeded. I also feel like the kind of unique ending with Kotaro discarding the power of Taro to save the day puts it over Return for me as well. Speaking of Kotaro, I think I would put him after Hideki as my favorite protagonist, as Hideki had an arc to him, not that one. That's me. To him, while Kotaro was just fully formed from the first episode, but still very likable. Yeah, Kotaro's just kind of a cryptid.
Agent of Chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Kotaro.
Yeah. I'm gonna miss him Shadow of the Colossusing everything.
Yeah, I'm very happy with the end. I was kind of worried because Kotaro wasn't in the show anymore, and this finale is truly the perfect choice for him.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, absolutely, that's Kotaro.
Yeah,
I do sometimes feel a little bit bummed that I don't always know if they live up to the Kotaro. They cash a really strong Kotaro promise in the first set of episodes for this show, and I don't know that they always live up to it, which is a bummer, but I do like when they do utilize him, they utilize him well.
Yeah. I miss him since I know his character never comes back, because the actor feels he can never top his performance, and I kind of see where he's coming from. The most surprising thing for me this season was just how much I like the Zat team. Went this series not expecting much for them, but mostly because I thought their overall designs were just gaudy and bad looking. Don't insult Kidajime like that. They found them one of the most competent teams as well, so it was like, well, yeah, underrated thing. The guys of Zat maybe don't stick in our mind as much, but as a team, they're on the ball.
They're also just much more sensible, and I know some of that is network being like, "Hey, please don't just kill these random fucking nice monsters."
You just have to be a little more normal about your job, and suddenly you're better at it.
Yeah.
Instead of being absolute fucking psychos about trying to destroy kaiju all the people going, they're going off on one, losing their minds, and always fucking up. And Zat's just like, yeah, we clock in, you know, we do our job as a kaiju. You know, maybe it's all right, maybe it's not, and then we sort it, we deal with it.
Yeah.
Then we go home, and then Kirajima goes home and fishes.
Yeah, unlike us, who sorts it at the final episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least for me, almost everyone was a guy who had some stand-out trait that made him memorable. Yeah, I guess that's kind of true. We'll miss Ueno's acrobatics.
Ueno's entire thing being that he's kind of a cool guy that's just kind of turned up on the team and
then disappears.
Then disappears, goes away.
As for their kaiju rankings, bottom 5 are from worst to best: Rodera, Flying Rhydron, Tondile, Mygon, Hitting Button, Arendo. I won't do it a third time.
Thank you.
You heard it twice this episode. You can just insert it in your mind.
Yeah, insert it in your mind.
I should have saved it for now, actually. Damn. And their top 5 are Mochiron, Rabbit Dog, Mother of Ultra, the Space Boys, and Piccolo. With all
Rabbit Dog Truthers Unite.
With all mentioned to my number 6, Android Seiko. Have a great one, and looking onward to Leo.
Yeah, thank you for your email.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
What is, like, Leo personality
Don't...
traits?
Oh, okay.
Self-assured and have natural confidence. That's good. That's better than overconfidence. Generous, hardworking, fiercely loyal to their loved ones, creative, and enthusiastic. Oh, but their negative traits are dramatic and averse to change. Okay.
That's Ultraman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? This franchise is fucking averse to change, let me tell you.
That's Tokubibi.
That's how it be.
I do think the process of doing this podcast has made me feel more gratitude towards my baby shows of choice, which is mecha anime, and maybe being a little bit more experimental with their franchises sometimes and how they mix.
I do just have to wonder if making a suit just makes it like different.
I do think that there are very material reasons for why that is. Yeah.
Anyway,
like it.
Yeah.
You got less room there. I think.
Yeah,
for sure.
Once you've got, I mean, I suppose once you've got good at, obviously there are like skill sets within animation, but animation is a little more open in terms of like what you can depict.
Yeah.
And you know that means a little more a variety from show to show. Whereas having like, you know, we've got some sets, we've got some suits, we've got
the government only lets us film in these 3 spots in Tokyo.
Yeah, it's limiting.
It is,
and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm just hoping that we'll see external forces force a change if they don't change themselves, basically.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's just time,
yeah.
baby.
I also just feel like there's, I don't know, like, no, I'm not going anywhere with this. Never mind.
Okay. I'm going to our last email by our good friend Cedrixer.
Hello, Cydrixer.
Welcome back.
Hello,
Welcome
Cedrixer.
back. Pissed. Guess what? Y'all have finished 6 seasons already.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sounded so defeated, Brad.
Yeah.
Like, listen. We got a lot yet.
We do have a lot yet. That's the thing.
I don't know if I'll make it. If I'm being honest, we'll see.
That's strapping you in.
I believe.
Strapping you in.
But
yeah. Taro, the only Ultraman show for the longest time I refused to finish because I simply did not vibe with it. I did watch it, though, and realized how much of a fool I had been for necking all the time, because, yeah, Taro's pretty cool after all. To me, it excels at being a show that you can just pick out a random episode whenever you're feeling down, and you'll get nice, good vibes, filled time to brighten up your day. I think the issue I was having was trying to just binge the show, which is very much not the correct way to do it for this season in particular. So stepping away and coming back, but taking my time with it really helped me appreciate over time. I think that just seems to be the thing. Don't
yeah,
binge.
I mean, definitely multiple people expressing the same sentiment, and I would agree with it. I don't know if this is a good back-to-back-to-back episodes show.
I think they found a show with several standard episodes that have just made me feel happy, which can go a long way even if they aren't doing anything super experimental or unique, which I feel you all found as well while watching, which I'm glad about. Find attached the 21st century Taro theme for you to use at the start of the episode, this one they're recording, as always. And of course I'll send that to you, Red. And by that I mean I'll put it in the chat.
Alright. Thank you.
I'm sure you know what I'm about to say, so go on, give me your ideal Taro tribute episode for potential future shows, please.
Okay. Taro tribute episode is Kotaro is back, but Kotaro shows up in a town like he's fucking like he's a wandering hero, like he's Fist of the North Star type shit. He just kind of wanders into a weird situation and you know solves some local people's problems and then walks off into the sunset.
That sounds fun.
I think... See, the tricky thing for me is that I want to do something that's like, what if instead of doing like a fairy tale type thing, you did like an internet story thing?
Internet kind of gone?
But,
oh, okay, like an urban legend?
Yeah, but I think that would be... I think that'd be tricky to do. But I
mean,
think
I
that
think
could
you
be a
could
fun
do
take
it.
on it.
It's just like a matter of
yeah.
working.
Have you seen like the first like have you encountered the opening of Dandadan?
Oh yeah, that's true. Like, isn't that just more general like ghost and alien shit? Is that like internet-y?
There's the very first thing is like racing granny.
Oh, okay. Huh. Okay. I need to watch or read that.
I need to finish that.
I've been meaning to.
I'll see.
I was reading it a little bit. I had paused.
I have friends that really, really, really like it.
What do I want?
Tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want.
Bring back the android wife.
Bring back the android wife.
That's all I got, really. I just, it's really hard for me to like think of like what to do with some of these guys, I guess.
They're very specific.
Maybe just like
Don Chan comes back.
Oh yeah.
I think that we talked a little
Piccolo.
bit about like
back.
what like. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Piccolo's still out there. Piccolo can come visit Earth.
Yeah.
And then he can cause mischief and be like, "I'm sorry, please don't beat me up."
Piccolo visits Earth at the same time Lunatics does.
Lol. Wow, big rabbit.
And then Lunatics
crossover with Toei. Daifuku is that?
Yeah, I was gonna say Lunatics is voiced by Yuichi Nakamura.
Like, we talked a little bit about, like, the episodes of former Ultraman shows that, like, just kind of live rent-free in our head and kind of define our thoughts back on it. I do think the Don-chan one's going to be that for me for this show, along with, like, the Mochiron and Piccolo ones.
I gotta think of
just, like,
Orphe and Piccolo for me, for sure.
That makes sense. Something about that kid just being like, I'm not really a kaiju, really stuck out to me as, like, damn, we could, like... we could be doing anything with these. Like, he's just kind of a weird elemental force. It's cool. I like it.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like the one guy in part 4 who might be an alien and he doesn't actually have a stand.
Yeah. I forgot about JoJo Part 4 is so fucking good.
It's great.
All right.
Yeah, that's us. Okay,
Sick.
but now
Thank you for email.
No, continuing it.
Oh,
segueing into
I retract my thanks.
Yeah. But now we are entering a Leo. Leo is by far my favorite Ultraman show of all time. Has my favorite protagonist and premise. Favorite uses of new and
Do
legacy
I want
stuff.
to hear this?
And one of the
Okay.
favorite OSTs.
Okay. All right. Cydrix is the music guy.
The audience is hyping us up on Ultraman.
Don't do it too much because you don't want to be disappointed.
No.
Clearly, this is going to be the best Ultraman that's ever been.
Yeah.
They also say
And anything less will be a disappointment.
They also say it's also their favorite theme song. Depending on the day, and so yeah, they just
I get to listen to the theme song. Okay. I get to listen to this theme song soon.
Yeah. It's all just a pinnacle Ultraman for them personally. They don't mean that in a hyperbolic way. They just really love it to death. Even though we know there's stuff in the production that we'll get to.
I'm
of course
assuming
there
there's
is.
a reason this is the last of my Steelbook Blu-rays, and I'm excited to find out
Yeah.
why.
So here's the thing. Gundam went through a period where it was airing a new show, like a new episode every week for a few years, like continuing on from Victory through into G, through to Wing.
It is funny
and
that
then Gundam X.
Victory was the first of those, even though it's UC.
And
yeah.
Gundam X is the one where it all falls apart and gets cancelled, and Gundam goes on hiatus for a little bit.
That show's fucking amazing.
That show's great.
Yeah.
Gundam X is great.
Yeah.
Especially after it gets cancelled.
Yeah. I'm hoping it's a similar thing for us. Like, this is a show. This is me talking. I'm hoping it's for us. It's just they do something weird, and we vibe with it, and it just there are reasons. It just didn't. The franchise had to take a break. That was just not to do with necessarily the show's quality.
Yeah.
Even if the audience is wrong. But
let me tell you, a lot of the times the audience is wrong,
Yeah.
especially at the time.
yeah, Seed is really profitable.
Yeah.
Still.
Mel, you. I know you're on the cusp of a David Lynch journey from the Blue Velvet talk the other week. I need you to start Twin Peaks.
I've seen Twin Peaks.
Oh wait. Oh fuck. Okay.
I'm the one that hasn't seen Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Okay. You gotta
Which,
start Twin Peaks.
I will one day.
Yeah.
Um,
Mel, have you watched The Return? I forgot.
yeah, I've seen The Return.
Okay. I'm on the cusp of starting that myself.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, let me just recollect myself. Yeah, basically they're saying y'all better like it, or else we're gonna have major problems. They're gonna I guess they're gonna invite Red to behind Tesco's again.
Yeah. Fist fight.
Hype train starts now.
I beat him. We met and fought over whatever it was last time. I beat him soundly.
Yeah.
He can't. There's no proof to deny this.
They are reminding us of a request they made for Leo specifically. They want us to hear our original reactions to the Leo theme song, just because it's
Okay, well, you can do that.
Yeah,
I can do that.
This
is already
the song.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a finale. It's what it is. What it is.
Yeah.
I have heard this one before personally, and I also like it. But let me just make sure.
Okay, putting it in the chat, I assume.
Yeah, I'm trying to do it on my phone.
Aha.
2 God's Strongest Soldiers.
That's the chat name.
Yeah. We definitely didn't come up with the name ourselves. It was other people. Anyway, there you go. That's the OP.
Okay, I am gonna hit play on this in 3. Oh, wait, was it?
Oh, I was gonna say, you do the countdown. So.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna hit play in 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, hang on. We might have a real theme.
Oh, this Fox, actually.
Yeah.
I was not expecting much, but...
This is the part where I reveal this is also my favorite show era, OP.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh my god, it's real. We're here.
Okay.
Yes!
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there's like an actual song. Let's fucking go.
Oh, this is sick.
I approve.
I'm gonna give it like a minute and... Well, until it seems like the OP is done.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna listen to the
I
whole
like
thing
this
now.
a lot. Yeah, it just clears the rest by a country mile.
Yeah, it's really good.
Oh, I'm so fucking excited to watch this show.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's a good freaking OP. Like, I think it's about right.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna stop it right there.
Yeah.
That was sick.
Thank you very much for that, yeah.
Well, you know, early signs, Leo might be goated. We'll
Yeah.
you know, we don't know. We'll see.
They say expect another lengthy email next time going over those episodes, but they do reveal something structurally.
I will do, you know, size, you know, you can, we'll not be hearing
we'll
that.
See. I'll just say, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We will see.
I will simply let it wash over me and through me.
All right, Paul.
And
until only the Heisei era remains.
I'm looking forward to Leo, but I'm also looking forward to Heisei.
I am looking forward to Johnny Mnemonic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So time for us to announce.
Yeah, we're taking a week break out from watching Ultraman because it's just nice. It's nice to take a break. And what we will do is we will instead be having a detour quarry. We will be talking, because we have been talking about wanting to talk about Burning Chrome forever, and instead of just doing it, we're just going to watch Johnny Mnemonic. We're going to watch the movie Johnny Mnemonic, and we will also probably talk about what we thought of the Burning Chrome short stories there.
Yeah, and rank the stories.
Yeah.
Some
of those I want to revisit, I think, because it's been a minute, but...
Yeah, me too. And also, yeah, we're, like, maybe we'll talk about it more next time, but we have, like, recalibrated what we think of how we're doing Detour Quarry in general going forward, so...
We've got, like, a semi, like, regular schedule for them now.
Yeah. And maybe next time I'll even announce the next series that we're doing. Oh, a tease. The next season.
A tease.
The
the one thing the one tease I have for it is Guy City. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. I just had to like figure out what the fuck you were saying, but I was like, oh yeah.
It is guys all the way down.
Yeah, and we might also do some housekeeping just some next week anyway if we're talking about the Detour stuff anyway. So
I think I've already forgotten what the next Detour Quarry.
Don't worry, you said you weren't gonna be on it. So.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk about more. There's some stuff about like we haven't figured out what we're doing immediately after Leo, but like in terms of like the season stuff. Well, you know, there's some stuff with me. I'll say like, oh, there's stuff like right after Leo that we haven't revealed we're doing that we can maybe reveal finally now that we're on Leo. So
yeah,
that may have been confusing to like literally everyone but me.
Yeah, basically for now, don't worry, everything will be fine. Next week we're watching Johnny Mnemonic.
Yeah, right now. We
will be back with Ultraman Leo, which from the sounds of it, people fucking like. So yeah. I'm currently way more optimistic than I was like half an hour ago.
Yeah. Same.
I might end up just watching the first episode just because, like,
yeah, just do it now.
What? Yeah, but also just like
I
don't like I don't like to start the production history without like seeing one episode of the show. So.
Oh, I see. I see.
Taro to Leo.
Shut the fuck
up. Somehow, the finale of Taro is less time than the first episode of Taro.
That's how it goes.
I think
sometimes.
That's still our longest podcast, and presumably will be for some time.
Yeah. All right. Well, in which case, we're done here. If you want to follow the show online, you can do so on Twitter at @ultra_Q. That is at @ultra_QUEUE. We are also on Blue Sky at @ultraQUEUE. No underscore on Blue Sky. Mel, your plugs. That's what they're called.
Hi. You can follow me at DickCrowns on Twitter and Blue Sky. We also got an email, allscupod@gmail.com. And we have a fund for subtitle stuff. That's the coffee. It's Coffee Link, Allscu Fund. I never get this right. Brad.
Yeah, I'm everywhere, but specifically Blue Sky and Twitter at BeInvoked. _INVOKED on Twitter, without the underscore on Blue Sky. Now that I am done with my monthly work deadline and all my travel stuff, I want to get back to doing fighting game stuff and probably some Synduality on YouTube. My friend recently made a joke about, like, this is why I'm not friends with YouTubers. Forgetting that, just because I haven't been making stuff for a bit, I'm still a YouTuber. It was pretty funny. So yeah, I need to reclaim my status.
Anti-YouTuber discrimination.
That's fine. It's a bad crowd.
Yeah. All right. Well, like I said, next week, no Ultra Q, but there will be a Detour Quarry. We'll be talking about Cyberpunk. We'll be talking about Johnny Mnemonic.
We are going technical.
Absolutely. And the week after,
tell you about that one lady who was really hot and then was kind of mean, but like, damn, she was a baddie though.
Damn.
There's like 4 stories I'm referring to all in once.
Yeah,
well, that's just kind of Gibson.
That's noir, baby.
Yeah,
it's the sprawl.
It's the sprawl. So yeah, and then week after, Leo. Goodbye for now.
Goodbye.
Later.
Ego